along with the Fort Morgan Firefighter Department, rescued 3 people from a burning boat that occurred this past weekend. The fishing boat had a mechanical problem and caught fire off the coast of Fort Morgan. The Fort Morgan firefighters were able to respond to the blaze by using nearby jet skis to go retrieve the people from the water. Fortunately, no one was injured from this incident. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit AlabamaSheriff'sYouthRanches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money?
Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest.
You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist?
That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
I see.
Yes, he is our preferred money man.
The money man with the money plan.
You've been paying attention.
Well, could you give us those numbers one more time?
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not an elk.
Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you?
Knights of Columbus.
I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby liked it.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the health care of the people of the River region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Yeah. You are a rude, terrible person.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program on a lovely Monday out of Montgomery, Alabama. So much to get to today. And today, well, I have friends. A couple of friends. Eddie Bader is back. How you doing today, Eddie?
Wonderful. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. And Troy Carrico is here in the studio. How you doing today, Troy?
I am outstanding. How are you?
I'm doing great. And like I was telling you all off air, a lot of lot of different stories to go to, but I want to start with with you, Troy. Like, what flag did you bring today, sir?
Well, I have to preface the flag, guys, because we have progress going on right now in these studios.
Oh,
bro.
yeah, everything's being
changed.
changed.
They say that change offers the illusion of progress. So that's where we're at right now. But right now we have this kind of fished into the foam. That is the first flag of the South Carolinian militia, and they were, interestingly enough, one of the first units to attack the British and to attack the Federal Republic in 1862. So it's a flag that is near and dear to my heart. I love the crescent moon, and whenever I see that, or whenever I'm in South Carolina, Joey, I think about the importance that South Carolina had to the central colonies that we had. So,
oh yeah, and so South Carolina was the first in both major wars.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
All right, and so blue it just says Liberty with the crescent.
Blue with Liberty, and there used to be a star with the crescent. They took that off, but that is just that. It is. Things were simple back in the day. I mean, you saw some of the flags; they were just maybe a pine tree or whatever it might be. But this one was symbolic of blue sea for the coastal line, and then the moon that sets over it, and then Liberty. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
As we continue, and what's that F. Scott Fitzgerald quote behind you, Eddie?
This is Pamela's thing.
Okay,
which is beautiful, but
yeah. You ever been a big you read The Great Gatsby often?
No, I saw that crappy movie, and I sell houses in Midtown all the time.
That movie is terrible.
That's good.
That movie is awful.
Yeah.
Like, what a stinker of a film. And they made it all fancy,
Right.
and we're going to sing together.
Well, I kept
And it's
thinking
like,
it was
come
going
on.
to change, get better, but it never did.
How's the real estate market? Because, as I know you had that busy week last week, I saw a national headline saying, like, home sales go to their slowest.
In my opinion, and this is just strictly my opinion, my experience here in the last couple of weeks, getting great listings, getting some good houses back on the market. Your houses that are 300 and below are selling pretty easily.
Yeah.
350 an average on up. It's taken a little while.
Well, and I'm wondering, if that's the lowest like number of home sales of currently existing homes in the nation, you're probably talking about places that are highly inflated.
Yeah.
Way over. Say in a bigger market, it would be a 500 or whatever, but it's in the millions and nobody wants to move on.
Well, a lot of people that are in that price bracket, say 500 and above.
Yeah.
They are the ones that these tariffs and things that are happening are affecting. And they are, I won't say they're losing money or anything like that, but they're more cautious.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just waiting. And that's the big thing. We've got some beautiful properties on the market right now. To me, man, we've got a property out there, and of course, Troy's very familiar with it.
Yeah,
that's an $850,000 property.
Beautiful piece.
We've got on the market for $650. We are expecting an offer this week, which is great.
That's awesome.
But it's in a normal world, this is an $850,000 property,
right?
So it is what it is. But on the lower end, the lower end, a mid-range house now, $100,000 up to say 300, they're still selling pretty quickly.
All right, then.
Quickly. Yeah.
Well, and I'm just been doing radio stuff, so I don't know. I can writing and waiting for my op-ed to drop tomorrow. Looking forward to that. And that brings up 2026 to me. This now race is wide open. Again, it was reported fairly good sources that Tuberville is running for governor. Yes. The source was like he said it in a private dinner to a bunch of folks, bunch of private donors. So the question becomes, who runs for that open Senate seat? And this is not a normal thing. Jeff Poore at 1819 News this morning has a great write-up laying out the history. I just want to read it real quick. He says, for nearly a century, with a handful of exceptions, when Alabama voters elected someone to the U.S. Senate, the power of incumbency allowed for re-election to multiple terms. Richard Shelby had 6 6-year terms. 36 years? Damn. Jeff Sessions won 4 elections before briefly serving as U.S. Attorney General, and Sessions could have kept that seat for the rest of his life.
If you wanted to,
definitely,
you bet.
Definitely.
Hal Heflin won 3 terms. I will always remember Heflin seeing the clips of the Clarence Thomas hearings. Now, getting the glasses. And one sunglasses. Miss Hill, is that what was on the Coke can? Like Miss Hill. And all sorts of stories about him, stuffing fried chicken down his coat jacket pocket. They saved for later. Well, and remember when Ted Kennedy was caught, like the paparazzi used a long lens, caught Ted Kennedy with another woman out on his yacht. And in the private Senate meeting, this famous story goes, Heflin spoke up. He goes, well, I see that Senator Kennedy has changed his position on offshore drilling. Man, we've got some characters up there. John Sparkman won 4 terms after winning an election to fill John Bankhead's unexpired term. Lister Hill won 5 U.S. Senate elections after being appointed to fill Hugo Black's unexpired term, who was appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court. There were some notable exceptions scattered throughout, but contested U.S. Senate elections were not common in Alabama before Sessions was appointed to the Trump administration. But since Sessions' departure in 2017, Alabamians have elected 3 U.S. senators. That's amazing. In just the last 6 years?
That's crazy.
That's incredible. 7, 8 years? It's pretty amazing. So it's been what? Doug Jones? Oh, what a cycle that was. Tommy Tuberville. And Katie Britt. Should reports that Tuberville will forego re-election to run for governor, Alabamians will get another crack at electing a U.S. senator. And so Jeff Poor has assembled a list here, and we can read the list but also add to it, and it's in no particular order. For instance, he brings up U.S. Representative Barry Moore. And I like Barry very much. I'm looking to get him on the show here soon, maybe this week. And also, Senator Brett, I believe, will be on the show this week. I'm hesitant to go. So who you backing, Katie? Like right now, just decide who you backing. It's not even official. Tuberville said it won't be official till it comes from me direct. But Barry Moore's a possibility. And talk about a comeback story. What, he was indicted in the whole Hubbard thing.
He has a lot. He has a lot of rear baggage, though, that I think that might be hard to overcome. I think.
And then Jerry Carl, who Moore just beat, but Jerry Carl pretty strong in the southern part of the state. Now, statewide, you guys always look at the statewide officials. Will Ainsworth. Now, Ainsworth, with the rumors of Tuberville getting out, Ainsworth posted, that tweet where it was him like eating his Wheaties. I told his people that it was almost a perfect tweet.
It was.
It was almost, because they should have chose the Wheaties box with Bruce Jenner on it. Then it would have been a perfect tweet.
The good Bruce Jenner.
You didn't,
not the trans.
Old school
Bruce Jenner.
Well, it reminds me of Norm Macdonald. It's like, man, I remember watching Bruce Jenner at the decathlon doing all those events with those heaving breasts. It's ridiculous. But no, I don't know. Will Ainsworth, does he try to go head to head against the Tuberville? That's going to be tough to beat.
I don't know. There's a lot of money behind Ainsworth. I mean, a lot of money. That's Progress Rail money. That's a lot of money.
And he's got a lot of private independent money. Yeah. The Ainsworth family is quite well off. Done very well for themselves. Well, a name that he said, I'm not running for governor, that might very well be in there, is Attorney General Steve Marshall.
Yeah, I saw that.
Now, Marshall, I think, could actually be really competitive in this. And the Attorney General spot has always been a great launching pad. You think of like Don Siegelman became lieutenant governor and governor. Think of Jeff Sessions, of course, ended up senator. Bill Pryor ended up on the 11th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals. Actually, it didn't for a time. Luther Strange spent some time.
For a bit,
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. What a shame. He lost to Roy Moore, right, in the primary. And then Roy Moore had the worst possible responses.
Indiscretions.
The worst possible responses to all the accusations. I remember he went on with Sean Hannity after it all came out. The Washington Post does his hit story, and his answers were not satisfactory. And I learned a lot about this state at that time. Like, oh, Joey, that's how it used to be when you go when you're like 30 something. You need a young one so you can train her. Old women were calling up and saying that, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a different place. Okay. Of course, Gary Palmer also comes up. Dale Strong as well. Maybe Bradley Byrne wants to run again. Maybe House Speaker Ledbetter. Maybe Mo Brooks gets back in.
Admiral Kent Davis.
Yeah, maybe Admiral Kent Davis. I was thinking about the Admiral.
I'm not going to tell any hands. I think he has another spot picked out. So
yeah, I know he's looking to run for something.
One of the things about Kent Davis, guys, is he's got a soft landing either way. Will Ainsworth, Tommy Tuberville have already approached him and said, look, if for some reason you don't have anything by the time we get to office, we're going to make you. And that Jeff Newton, that's a clarion call for you. There are people that want Kent Davis back. But he has a very focused move on Congressional District 3, and we'll talk more about that in the coming weeks.
Good,
so,
good.
And so, like, you could also look at former mayors, the outgoing mayor of Mobile, Sandy Stimson, Mayor Tommy Battle there in Huntsville.
Tommy Battle.
And you have to admit, like, it's just God's honest truth in this state. All the people and all the money is Birmingham and North.
It's North.
I mean, we got some people in some nice places and stuff in, Central and South Alabama, but all the people and all the money is definitely in that whole metroplex, starting in Birmingham, going up into the Rocket City.
And one of the things I find interesting, and you can weigh in on this, the port of Mobile is a critical port to our country, and it should generate more, I think, concurrent wealth in the South. But let's be honest, the Redstone Arsenal in that area up there, that is just a floodgate of monies coming in, and it's getting bigger, right? With Cash Patel just being
More
up there
FBI.
At Redstone.
That's right. So
and then the widening of the port, the dredging of the port, and all this stuff.
It's critical.
It is going to be huge. Though I think there are stories coming out of the port in Los Angeles that this next shipment will be down 40% year over year with Chinese goods.
Look, there's some charting you can go look at, seeing freighters sitting outside of China compared to what used to be sitting outside of here. And they're literally sitting just waiting to be loaded, waiting for the tariffs to go away.
And there's all these screenshots making the rounds, like some stupid woman. It's like, I thought I found a great cheap dress for my daughter to go to some big celebration for her uncle's and aunt's anniversary. And I found it for $20 on Temu. And really, you're buying a dress for $20 on Temu?
You know what Temu's doing? They've contacted Mexico and said, hey, and in fact, a lot of companies in China have said, hey, you mind helping us bypass this?
They're going to try,
Still
but
gonna have tariffs.
you and I
know,
they
know.
There'll be tariffs on top of tariffs.
Exactly.
Right, but it's like, don't buy Temu, buy American. But the woman was all freaked out because she's like, I found it for $20, but the final charge came in at like $50-something because of a $30-something import fee. And I'm like,
some of the coolest shirts I get, unfortunately, I can't find here in the States. I have to find on
coolest shirts. What are you talking about?
Like my latest advertising shirt with the T-Rex on there and 4th of July. That's not something you can find in America. I don't know why we don't have that kind of creativity, but I got to go to China to get it.
You better go to Harbor Freight soon because it's all going to get really hard.
Oh, you're not kidding. Just because I'm in the drone world so much, a lot of that technology comes out.
Right.
Like battery prices just in the last 2 days have gone up 200%.
Oh, I believe it. No, like maybe you could get a T-shirt like printer, like.
Thought about it.
Maybe you could start a business. That'd be
good.
I don't have enough going on.
I could see you. I could watch this, Troy. I could see this guy. Like getting really good at the airbrushing.
If I had airbrush talent, I would have done that when I was like in 7th grade, and that would be my skill. However, I don't have that skill.
You don't have that skill?
I struggle with a roller.
Have you tried?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was told you don't have the skill.
He would draw caricatures that would look nothing like the people.
Exactly. And I'd be like, what's your problem?
It'll be great, man. It's great. I'm not offending anyone.
Exactly.
No, so it's it's up in the air. I actually, the more you listen to the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, the guy seems way too sure of himself. But also like they've got something up their sleeve. Like they don't seem as quite as bothered as everybody else out there in the markets. And you have to make sense that some of these folks making all that noise is because they like the status quo. Like everything else going on.
There's usually a vested interest with those that are complaining, right?
Yeah, whether you're talking about RFK Jr. overhauling HHS or Tom Homan actually trying to enforce immigration laws. Like it's like everybody, I love this line too. It's like, well, they have it right in principle, but the way they're going about this is just so crazy and ridiculous. And it's like, okay, if you went about it another way, we wouldn't be where we are today. It does change the conversation. But I am genuinely interested. Who is going to run for United States Senate if Tuberville does, in fact, run for governor? And as I've made very clear in writing and on these airwaves, if Governor Tuberville is a thing, then be a big, bold thing. Be an Alabama first, big, bold populist movement. Don't just stamp your very popular name, a popularity you earned, Coach, onto what the latest thing at Goat Hill is. I think that would be disappointing.
What do you think? What do you think about this? And you and I, we've talked about this ad nauseum. How do you leave one of the critical senatorial posts with good assignments on your committees under a great leader that you have synced with and thinks highly of you to come back to this cesspool of, I'm going to be honest, state politics is just absolutely fraught with intrigue, and would his legacy possibly be endangered by coming here and failing in his mission, which I don't think he will, but it is a big risk.
It's a
Joey,
risk.
it's a big risk.
It's a
big
risk. I certainly think it's a risk. But, I mean, we'll see. I think Tuberville, if he wants it, he's going to get it.
Oh, no doubt.
Without a doubt.
I kind of like him where he's at.
Yeah, and you don't want him. And well, you also have a bet running with Craig
No,
Maunder.
honestly, I like him where he's at because if he comes, then we got to put somebody else up there.
Mhm.
Then they've got to learn where the bathrooms are, learn how the situation works. But on the other side of that, besides Tuberville, I don't know if I see such dynamic people that want to run for governor.
The bullpen,
that can make things happen.
The bullpen looks weak, right?
Yeah, it looks like same-o.
Hmm.
That's what I worry about.
Well, but it does make 2026 quite fascinating.
Sure,
You're already
yeah.
seeing, I was talking about it last week, the sparring over Easter weekend of all
I saw
between
that.
the
Oh.
current Secretary of State, Wes Allen, and the former
Yeah.
John Merrill. And damn, like at first it was all about numbers, like who's registered and removed how many people off the rolls. And then Wes Allen on Easter Sunday comes out and goes, sodomy.
Right.
I'm at church and this guy and I'm like, whoa. Now that is that not a term of art? Because when you hear that word,
Sodomites,
right?
Yes.
Don't say what comes to mind, but when you hear the word sodomy, don't you think of like what's in the Bible, like the worst,
got him
Exactly.
the worst possible thing? But it could mean like,
All I see is non-voluntary.
yes. See, you think of that,
That's all I
or
think.
it could be kind of like what Bill Clinton got in the Oval.
No, 'cause
You know,
that
and
was
it still
all-
isn't wholesome. It isn't good or whatever. But that is very
fellatio. That's different than
right.
sodomy, right?
No,
But not really.
no. If
Not
you
really.
go,
Not if you're married.
let me be technical. If you go look up the technical definition
Yeah.
of sodomy, and
Sure.
it differs in the law in certain states.
Sure does.
It means anything other than normal
penetration.
yeah, intercourse. Yes,
Penetration.
yes. And so you're like, but when you throw that word out, people are going to be like, oh man, I don't even want to go there. It lets the imagination run wild in a certain way. So I guess the race for lieutenant governor is going to be a heck of a thing, unless John Merrill decides to try to run for Senate again. But all that stuff's for better, for worse. Maybe he is repentant. Maybe he has found a new path in life. It's still fair game to bring up. Clearly, it's fair game
Why do you think it's fair game?
because it was so public. And especially because he was caught in a lie. Like he just said straight up, no, none of this is true.
So we're not kink
And then-
shaming. We're just saying
No,
you were,
to me, it was more like he goes, this is just flat out untrue. And then a recording showed it's definitely true. And he's like, well, okay, I'm not running anymore. Like it was just like you were caught red-handed with your hand in the cookie jar, man.
no apology tour either. You know, a lot of times politicians got to do an apology tour before.
Well,
they
he
can get
might
back
be
in there.
quietly doing that. John Merrill certainly is a talented individual, very charming.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think that is fair game in the sense that everything is fair game. Excuse me, pardon me. Do we not remember the 2022 Senate race?
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
with
Joey.
it's now it's like Katie Britt's there, and we love Katie Britt, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I like her, but
I love her to death.
I just
She's
learned in
great.
Radio Land, we get some folks who are like,
Oh, yeah. Well, of course.
she can do nothing to make them happy.
Sure.
But it's Mo Brooks. Clearly going to be Mo Brooks, and he messed up big time.
Mhm.
But then Mike Durant came in as the dark horse, and you remember the awful stories
Yeah,
dug up on
that's-
Durant.
That's
This
what
is-
really lost me for this. It just absolutely turned my stomach. I knew it was
Right.
bad, but that was the worst I've ever seen.
Right. So I'm saying if it's high enough stakes, and it's like a heated race, neck and neck, of course you're going to bring up everything.
But doing that, do we have the best person in there at that point? Is that the best person? Someone that's going to bring up that kind of crap?
Well,
Is that
I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, it's almost like if you want to be a leader in this country, like be within the inside chamber to like make the rules and make the deals and all this stuff, you have to first pass a certain litmus test to get inside the inside room.
have no
And
soul?
that test is how good are you at manipulating the public? And if you can effectively,
No
now
shame.
sometimes you can manipulate the public in a way where you're like, it's wholesome. Like you don't have any real competition. You just tell them the highlights of your life, some policies you want to do, and you get in there. But if it's a heated race, it often comes, and I'm saying this as somebody who's like, I've gone through these cycles where you study up on the policy and you study up on the people, like you read their books and you get to know their life, their biography, yada, 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 yada. And at the end of the day, it comes down to like some stupid like snippet that's cut out of context going, this guy doesn't believe in the Second Amendment, or Bradley Byrne doesn't really believe in the Bible, or,
right.
like
It's
these
who
little
can embarrass the other the most. And then that's the winner that we want. Who can shame the people the most?
That's
when
what
they
we
have
keep-
as much shame or more.
What we keep rewarding.
It is, but it's sad. It's really sad.
Just saying, like, it's not all sunshine and lollipops. I wish it
Oh,
was
it's
all
far from
saints,
that.
but most of politics is figuring out who's the least worst sinner.
You can fool some of the people some of the time. You can't fool all the people all the time, though.
But not enough of them. They fool enough at one time
Enough to get by.
to win.
Enough
And
to
that's
get
what
by.
kills
Enough
me.
to get by.
And then
Right.
when you see the numbers, we're what, like 20% participation in voting and things like that.
Oh, sure.
That's
No,
just-
but I think some of that is people don't care. They're apathetic.
I think some get sick of it.
Yes. I think there are a lot of folks.
Because I ride that
But
fence a
people aren't-
lot.
There's no option here.
There's not incentivization. Nobody's incentivized until you can't pay your bills.
I agree.
Until you can't get your kids to go to private school, whatever it is in your life, and you can't do it. You've got no
I
incentive.
agree, and I've said that for a long
No
time. Is
incentive, yeah.
there's no incentive besides, hey Eddie, you can change the
Yes.
outcome. Well, I'm kind of not sold on that anymore.
Right.
You're going to have to make an incentive to get voters to vote,
Agree.
and they will not look at that. Their incentive is, I need voters to give me money. No, you need to make me just get to the poll. Forget the money part.
Maybe it's just a psychological reality, but people are much more motivated by something they're against.
Oh, 100%.
So it's not what they're for. It's
Yes,
like
what
if you
you're
can
against.
show,
Yep.
I want that guy to lose.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
Floyd Money Mayweather made so much money off that. He was such a good bad guy. They're like, I'm going to pay this $100 to watch him lose, and he never would.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like people are motivated by that negative emotion, by that, I really
More
don't like that
motivated,
guy.
yeah.
I mean, the best campaigns are the ones where it's truly competitive. There isn't much dirt on either candidate, and they really do have it out in terms of policy. That doesn't happen very often. And I've learned here in Alabama, that's almost like very rare indeed. Like, sadly.
Not even the dog catchers campaigns are nice.
Yeah. So we'll see what we get. I mean, a lot of these guys, like Dale Strong, just showed up in the Congress, and I think he's in a pretty good position up there representing North Alabama. Like, if you get that gig, that's a sweet gig.
Yeah.
Usually Congress is a lot of calling and fundraising, but I imagine Dale, it's not too tough in that part of the state to raise money.
Maybe he came with enough. Yeah, he came with enough money and backing it.
Now, and Gary Palmer, I like Gary.
I like
Palmer,
Gary,
but does he have the fire to do a statewide
the
campaign?
fire part.
I mean, we could ask him.
Smart
one
as he
day.
can be, one of the sharpest people I know up there. But yeah, does he have the fire? And I get it.
Yeah, and I mean, I look at Barry Moore, and I think hopefully we'll talk to him tomorrow.
I like Barry. He's got fire, got drive.
I like Barry a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's been underestimated time and time
right.
again.
Everything he's ever said he could do, even off air, some of the promises he made to some of our listeners, he stepped up and made it happen. I got to give him that, no doubt. But I'm not excited yet.
But by the way, I think Barry only got in second place in that initial congressional vote by a few hundred votes over Jessica Taylor.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that close.
So can you imagine a world where instead of Barry, it's Jessica taking on Jeff Coleman?
That's like an alter reality. It's sort of
yeah,
like a Marvel anti-universe.
It would have been a lot of fun, though.
It would have been fun, but
it would have been
I
Jessica's
think
a lot
we'd
of
have
fun.
been head in our hands a little more now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, and that's where people go. It doesn't matter. Well, it didn't matter in that.
It
was just a few hundred votes that made the difference.
Yeah.
And then Barry ran a wonderful campaign to beat the guy who had much more money than he did. He beat out Jeff Coleman for it.
Which is tough.
Yeah,
that's just tough.
Well, and it shows don't underestimate that guy. And I think Barry he was very early on one of the people backing Trump again. So he's probably got an IOU. Trump's ready to back him. Let's say.
I would say so.
Though it's always perilous to actually try to read Trump's mind. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, it's Charles the First of Disney.
Hey, Charles.
Troy,
Hey, Charles.
Eddie, Troy.
Hello, Charles.
Hi. Good to see you on there, Troy.
Thank you.
You were saying earlier about Senator Tuberville leaving with everything that he kind of built up there. And I wanted to bring a reference to his past history of that being the first time he coached and what he did, all the money he got from Auburn and what he did, and not necessarily being really close to whether or not he even qualified for running for Senate for having him somewhere else. And then that same point again now, and not staying there for very long. That seems to be his history. Now, I don't know if that would stop him from, doing everything he does because of name recognition. But the areas that I would handle if it were me would be the dark money coming into the state, the Ethics Commission and what they did with Admiral Davis, and I would have these prisons that won't have any. You do not intake a single person that's new into the system. I don't know if you guys are recognizing that with these prisons. It just houses what we've already got, and I would say. The prisons we got can be fixed, and the new intake, those prisons, or one of them, could be the new place to go instead of overseas by Trump to send people. Have you got me?
Mm-hmm.
Those type things, and I think some of those things would be things that our current persons, like you were just saying, Joey, they wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't touch, let's do something with dark money in a campaign. They wouldn't do anything with what the Ethics Commission leaked out. They wouldn't do anything that has to do with the prisons and the billions that we're spending. So I think the issues do need to be out there, and I think I think that there needs to be competition for Senator Tuberville. We don't just need, like you said, Joy. He's there. He doesn't have to discuss anything. There's nobody running against him. Nothing changes, and a lot of the stuff, it seems to me like he would just be going along with our legislature and what they're currently doing, guys.
Well, we'll see, Charles. I appreciate the call, man.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank
you, buddy.
And that's my biggest fear too, for him to come here, lose a great spot there, just continue on same old.
I think it's tenuous. I think it's going to be tenuous ground here.
Out of anybody that can make changes, he can do it.
Yep.
But will he?
I'm still bitter. I was still bitter when I was at Ole Miss. I had just came there when Ogeron took over for him, and that pine box thing really was pissing people off out there. Man.
He'll never
That's
let
why
that
I made the bet with Craig that I made.
Oh man, never let. Well, and it is amazing after all these reports came out. Oh, saying he's definitely running.
Yeah,
he said, "No, I'm still praying about it with my wife." When you'll know when it comes from me direct.
I keep wondering.
So who knows?
And you guys would know better than me, but I think that's people pushing him. And they'll go to the press. Oh yeah, he's running. Run with that story,
also,
and it kind of pushes him a little.
It's the worst kept secret. He's been telling people this.
Oh yeah,
for months now. But you never know. He might just be saying that. There's all sorts of reasons you might say that.
SEC coach.
Well, no, it could also be just
it's good
travel.
It's good pub.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Now that's really smart.
Speculation,
right? And you see how people react once the speculation stops. Like the conversation we're having now, they can judge it. And there's all sorts of conversations going on all over the place. You can judge it once you sort of put out these trial balloons, see how people react. You're sort of testing the line. So we'll see. But 2026, either way, shaping up to be a heck of a campaign. We shall see. 272-9228. Again, if you want to get in on the conversation. This part of the program brought to you by Ashley and that fantastic team there at Pest
I saw
Pro
her
Services.
Friday night at the Builders mud bug deal that we did. Yeah, it was great seeing her. It was great. Everybody and their brother. I mean, she might as well have had her own booth because people were lining up wanting to come talk to her.
Oh, she's awesome.
She's awesome. She does great work. And one of the biggest things, and we don't talk about it much, but if you're doing new construction, you want to get her in there before to treat the ground. It's really important. And that's how you start with your termite bond as well. A lot of people don't think about that and they leave it up to their construction supervisor to take care of it. Why do that? Go ahead and start that relationship with Pest Pro now. That way you start it from the beginning. That way they have a record of everything going on with your house too. It's just a great idea.
I love it. Yeah. Y'all check them out. Well, I love that it's so easy to tell folks about Pest Pro.
Oh yeah.
Because they really do get the job done.
100%.
So basic pest control services, say residential, or maybe it's new construction.
Yeah.
Of course, they can get you on a plan for mosquito treatment.
Oh man.
And folks might think, oh, I got to call them, hassle them to get them to come. No, they're going to get you on a plan. We're going to be about 8 times at peak mosquito season, 8 times a year. Yep. And it works, as you can attest to, up in Mosquito Haven around the lake.
That's exactly right.
If it works up there at the lake,
where you're surrounded by water, and that's that's what mosquitoes want. So
y'all check out Pest Pro Services today. You can always learn more at ppsriverregion.com or just search for Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces, or just call them direct at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellows on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Jenny King, the king of clean, delivers reliable, high-quality commercial cleaning services through a proven franchise model that empowers local business owners. Jenny King's franchise owners receive the training, support, and resources needed to succeed, while clients benefit from tailored cleaning solutions backed by a global brand. Jenny King ensures consistent results, trust, and success for everyone we serve. Go to JennyKingCleans.com and find out how we can help you. That's JennyKingCleans.com.
Jenny King, the king of clean.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Woodward, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Radio is an active medium. It can create immediacy, driving shoppers to a specific store, brand, or to take a specific action. Radio ads engage with the audience in a personal and unique way. Contact me, Cheryl Woodward, by going to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. The week debuts as Wall Street traders await news of tariff talks along with corporate earnings and economic reports. Domino's Pizza fell 1.5% pre-market after posting sales and profits that came in below Wall Street expectations. Other major companies reporting earnings this week include 4 of the Magnificent 7 tech giants: Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Apple. It will also be a busy week for macroeconomic data. 2 employment reports are due this week, one from the private sector, the other a government assessment. Payroll processor ADP releases its April update on Wednesday. The Labor Department checks in on Friday. Shares of Deliveroo, the food delivery service based in London, are hitting a 3-year high after it received a $3.6 billion takeover offer from DoorDash. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Rich Thomas weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The month of April will be ending on a very warm note, almost like June. Today, partial sunshine, a sun and cloud mix with rain chances under 20%. High temperature near 90, low tonight 66, will be near 91 tomorrow and Wednesday. Both days mainly dry with a sun and cloud mix again. As the month of April comes to a close, the next risk of thunderstorms enters the forecast Thursday and gets better Thursday night into Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors & More is your low-price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors & More, Hunter Lane across from Delray to Publix.
Live local talk, the River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Clint. Hey, Clint, good to hear from you, sir.
Yeah, you too, guys. Good day to you.
What's on your mind today?
Hey, Barrymore. Is he running again? I missed a little bit of that conversation.
No, what we're talking about is if Tuberville runs for governor, who might run for Senate. Barrymore just won election in I think District 1, and the lines were redrawn. He just won in South Alabama. But we were wondering, does he try to run for Senate if that opens up?
I'd like to see him.
Well, if he does, he got my vote.
Exactly.
He's the one to help me get my family from Germany to here.
Yes, sir. I remember that.
If it hadn't been for him, I wouldn't have made it.
Exactly.
So, and I'm still waiting on a phone call back from Tuberville's office.
Mm-hmm.
That's been 3 weeks. So, but yeah, Moore's got my vote. Yeah.
All right. Well,
he used to be here in Wetumpka. I think he's in South Alabama now.
He is.
Yeah. All right. All right, guys. Have a good day and have a good week.
You too, Clint. See you, brother.
Well, and the thing with that, and it might be a special session and gets, called, is, that brand new District 2 that Shamari Figures ended up winning. That could be gone.
We're still waiting on that. And, you know, Louisiana, any day now, that ruling's going to come in Louisiana, which will probably tell us what's going to happen.
So it's all up in the air again.
Yeah, there's still a lot in play, guys. There's still so much in play.
I just love how they get to draw the lines before we ever get to vote.
Arbitrarily.
Yeah, it's a wonderful
Hey, we've
game.
got gerrymandering here. Now we're going to put some.
Right, we're gonna move it over here.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah. 2729228. It's an absolute mess. Now I want to go to a little bit of a palate cleanser, though. It actually should just annoy you. It really should just annoy the crap out of you. This is from I believe from 1983, and then a clip of Bernie Sanders in 2020.
Oh boy.
And it's one of these things where climate change catastrophe is right around the corner. It's been right around the corner for the last 5 or 10 years for 50 years now.
Right.
So here's what I'm talking about. This is, again, a mashup. It starts with NBC News in 1983 and then cuts to Bernie Sanders.
A federal report today predicted possible catastrophic warming of the Earth by the 1990s with a strong climate change.
What the scientists are telling us, we don't get our act together within the next 8 or 9 years. We're talking about cities all over the world, major cities going underwater.
Gosh, he's such a comic character.
Major cities going underwater.
Underwater. Like it really is amazing.
It's the whole Chicken Little, the sky is falling.
I know.
Guess what, dude? It ain't falling.
Well, no, it's kind of like the folks that get together, like, and go, these are truly the end times.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, how many times have people been wrong about it being the end times?
No one knows
no one
knows that day except as the father.
Right. Exactly.
So
I think that's a good thing, by the way. It's a really good thing.
We all know that. That's what I don't understand, how so many people come up and go, oh, no, it's end of days now. How do you know? We all agree that
the climate change thing, the alarmism, plays into that instinct.
It does.
Of wanting to know what will be the end sort of thing.
There's money involved in it. That's why it's perpetuated.
Oh, there's a lot of money involved in it. And it's the whole degrowth agenda being pushed through the UN and through all sorts of institutions.
Utopian.
Like human beings are bad and we need to eliminate. It's like, thanks, Thanos. I appreciate it.
We are bad. That's why we're king of the beast, baby. There is none higher.
That's why you need to find Jesus.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly right.
Exactly.
We're sinners.
I look at this and I'm like, how do people keep falling for it, though? Yeah, man. Well, and you might say, well, eventually we'll run out of fossil fuels. I'm like, in hundreds of years, sure.
Yeah, but by then we'll have something else. And
right. You're going to need, even Musk himself, who does the whole electric car things, like, but you're going to need fossil fuels to get you to a different type of energy source in the meantime.
No, we just go cold turkey today. Go in the dark until we figure it out.
So if you're a greener, you cannot make an argument against nuclear power to me. There's nothing you could say to me that would convince me.
Exactly, because this is what you want, right?
This is safe,
especially new technology.
Yeah,
especially the new reactors.
The Navy's been doing microreactors forever.
Right,
exactly right.
Well, and what you find is there are some genuine like greenies, tree huggers, like, yeah, sure.
That's a good idea.
But the people driving the car of this in mass media and
there's no money in that.
Yeah, and like the over-the-top studies is what gets the funding.
Well, that's
the
what
squeaky
gets the
wheel
headlines.
gets the grease.
Sure.
And so if you come out with a study going, Well, I think anthropogenic climate change and global warming is somewhat real, but it's only a little bit of a warming. If we do these basic adaptations without, like, that's not gonna make headlines. Like, that's way too reasonable, way too nuanced. Yeah. We want the stuff that says we're all going to die unless we give the government complete control over every aspect of our lives. Anyway, I just love how in 1983 they were saying, what did she say? What was that?
For today predicted possible catastrophic warming of the Earth by the 1990s with the strong climate change.
It's 2025 now.
Well, listen, I'm going to caveat that now, gentlemen. That's 42 years, so it says 40 to 50 years. So
you're right. It may
happen.
You're right. Was there a comet coming this way? Another meteorite coming this way? I mean, other than that, I don't see it changing that quick.
There's all sorts of catastrophes that could happen, like the super volcano underneath Yellowstone in Yosemite. Yeah. Like that could go any
Although, I got to be honest, we went out there and we seen Old Faithful when I was a kid. And I've seen it a couple times now.
It's not as impressive.
No, I can lay on my back and pee higher
all
than that
these.
thing.
How about the people that crawl out there and get into it? I mean,
well, that's another thing. When you walk the pass out there, they got geysers and everything. It's right there, and it stinks. It does not look inviting. Yet morons will walk off the trail into one of those things. I'm like, you know what? You get what you deserve with that.
You're right.
You get it.
Right, and now our national parks have become a haven for all sorts of awful serial killers.
Apparently.
Serial killers and weed growers.
But it's a great plausible deniability. It's like that it was a bear.
It was a Wolverine.
It was a cougar.
Bigfoot.
Yeah. Oh, it was a Bigfoot. Yeah.
Same scratches don't hurt anybody.
Yeah, they keep to themselves.
Right. They're loners.
Folks, I found the invisible Sasquatch. You can't see him, but he's there.
He's there.
Don't you love the people when you see like a documentary on Sasquatch? And they got the toothless dude from from Idaho going,
the cliche.
I was up in that tree and there he was.
They never get like, the smart Alabamians. They always find the
and there are some clever folks. I think they just like trekking around in the woods.
Well, not only that, if you're going to pay me and we're going to be a TV show and we can go look for some fake thing that I know we'll never find.
Do y'all remember Dale Brown, the coach at LSU for basketball? That was his passion. That's what he did.
Are you kidding?
Really?
Well, there's been a couple of them like that
That's
too.
What he
yes.
did this summer. He would go look for Sasquatch.
And of all,
6'11",
I just always thought that was an excuse to get away from the family because they're not going to come.
Well, no, and of all the fun conspiracies out there, like that one isn't that implausible in the sense that are there possibly animals living that we haven't discovered?
Absolutely,
of course, especially in areas that are very tough for human beings to get into.
Just go to the ocean.
The ocean in particular, but think of like especially the Northwest where a lot of people look for Bigfoot, like. And even here in Alabama, there's a lot of areas where there's
a lot of no-go areas.
Yeah,
for us.
Yes, there are. Not just in the city either.
And it's just too expensive to even go.
Yeah,
like so. I don't know. It may be that one.
Well, it's funny we talk about those conspiracies. There's a TikTok channel where they just interview everyday Russians and they ask them questions, and they say, "What do you think about American conspiracies?" And the first guy is a younger guy. He comes up and he goes, "Just so everyone knows, pigeons are a spy." Every
I
pigeon
love that.
is a spy, and he turns and walks away.
Birds aren't real.
That's him. Yep, that's him. That's our guy.
That's it.
That's one of my favorites too. No, those birds ain't real. That's why the cats stare at them and chatter at them.
Yeah,
they know. The cats know.
Yep.
The cats are. The cats know. We got to hit this break. First, though, this part of the program brought to you by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. And if you are hungry, want to get some lunch quick for takeout, or you have time to sit down, dine in, man, Smokehouse Pit Barbecue, they're back to the original barbecue recipes there. So you get like a tasty pulled pork sandwich.
Yep.
I love slathering that with their spicy barbecue sauce.
Yeah, you go with a hot sauce, huh?
Or a brisket or ribs. Like ribs is kind of a sit down thing, though. I'd imagine you could pull off eating some ribs.
Like I don't eat ribs in the car. Come on.
Oh, I see.
Come on.
I see it.
Ooh.
Yeah, Roxy's looking for a bone. I got to get the meat off the bone. I give her the bone. We're both happy as we ride down the road.
There you go. And then, of course, the fixins, the trimmings, the sides they have are just
amazing.
Fantastic. I usually go with fried okra. I'm a fried okra guy. Mac and cheese ain't too
mac
bad.
and cheese is the
Maybe you're like, I want some fried green tomatoes today.
That's really
I
good
want
too.
some mashed potatoes and gravy.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they also have Tuesday through Sunday a kick butt down home Southern breakfast.
That's right.
Amazing.
And in particular, you got to go try the cheese grits
grits.
there. They're so thick and
Good and thick, baby.
And by the way, I've gone to some family functions out of town and stuff, and I always try at these buffets their cheese grits. I'll try them. They're all right. But I've been ruined by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue.
Spoiled, buddy.
It's the standard.
Those cheese grits are amazing. I don't know what they're putting in there. I think it's a lot of butter and cream.
Got to be lard.
It's so good. Just go by there and get the cheese grits, folks. Or any of what they have. Again, that's Smokehouse Pit Barbecue, same location they've always been, Main Street in Millbrook. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie and Troy, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
For reliable electrical services in Central Alabama, trust the experts at Crosby Electric. Crosby's licensed and insured electricians are ready to tackle any project for your home, from troubleshooting, repairs, to installing new lighting and preventive maintenance. And Crosby understands the need for quality service for small business. Crosby is big enough for the largest job, yet small enough to bring real value. Visit CrosbyElectric.com to schedule your service. Crosby, powering Central Alabama with excellence.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Well, I just got some big breaking news. Well, I'll let y'all actually judge that. I shouldn't have characterized it. It's from the Montgomery Comms office, the city of Montgomery's Comms office. And they said today, Mayor Stephen Reed is in Chicago.
Chi-town.
Participating in a national convening of mayors and police chiefs focused on public safety and effective policing.
They're going to drive around Chicago and say, this is what you don't want to do?
I don't know. I'm not there.
I mean, that's a pretty good idea.
But it's brought together more than 40 city leaders to share best practices, discuss challenges, and develop innovative approaches to community safety. And police chief here for Montgomery, Jim Grayboys, is joining Mayor Reed at the gathering. Mayor Reed said, public safety is the foundation of thriving communities. This meeting allows city leaders to exchange ideas, examine proven strategies, and explore solutions that make our neighborhoods safer and more resilient. Montgomery will continue to lead with transparency, collaboration, and a commitment to building trust between law enforcement and the people we serve. So I'm sure that meeting will produce they'll bear a lot of fruit, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Oh, okay.
More than likely.
I would like to look at the demographic. I would like to look at the composition of those 40 mayors. I'd like to see their backgrounds, their demographics, everything, and see how that correlates to the rest of other thriving municipalities.
Oh, it'll be just like every other blue city.
Sure.
And that's where we're at.
No, and it is strange, like the amount of human just tragedy, especially some of these big cities are willing to put up with, I think, like a homeless stuff.
Yeah.
Just let people fester on the streets it's not humane.
Well, the drug addiction, and we see it, you end up with these people that are just standing on the side of the road in the middle of a bad trip, bent over looking like zombies. And I don't know how in cities they can do that. I don't see that much here. I see it more in the evening and the overpasses, but in these other cities where it's blatant. I'm glad we're not there, but
I mean, last time I went downtown, it was after the whole porta potty on top of the BLM mural right across from the Rosa Parks statue. That was just disrespectful. I go down there to meet somebody, and first thing I get in my car, it's an elderly lady, black woman, probably in her 60s, and she immediately asked me for money, and it wasn't in a rude way, it wasn't in a hostile way, and I'm like, no, I got a bottle of water in my car, and I gave her that. But you go like literally right across from City Hall.
Yep.
That kept you from going out for several months, didn't it?
No, that was more like just sad.
No, but he used it as an excuse.
I know he was like traumatized, like, oh gosh, they're going to talk to me.
Sad,
but
It is
someone's going to
sad,
talk
it
to
is.
me.
But we talked about this last time, many moons ago when I first came in here. Logan's Run.
Mhm.
That's the solution.
That's it.
Logan's Run. No,
That's
no kidding.
true.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm sorry. This is Santa.
Santuck, how you doing,
How you
Santuck?
doing?
I'm doing good. Can I give you a prelude of what Mayor Reed's speech is going to be there up there?
Sure.
And if I'm incorrect, please tell me. Before I'm speaking as Mayor Reed now.
Okay.
I don't have his voice, but I'm going to say, before, the 4 years before I was elected, Montgomery only averaged 38 and a half murders a year before I got elected. But once I got elected, we've averaged over 73 murders a year.
Ooh.
And and how did I accomplish that? Well, I hired a chief of police that was run out of New Orleans. He was actually over the forensics department. That's all. Not over the police department. No. But I thought he did a really good job as the chief over the forensics. So I hired him. Oh, by the way, ignore the fact that he was involved in sexual harassment complaints and many other activities. And so I brought him on board. Lo and behold, he did the same thing when he got to Montgomery. I don't know why. We actually had a woman with her lawyer on a local radio station and gave text from the chief of police that I hired, doing the same darn thing he was doing in New Orleans. But what I did, I realized I was incompetent as a mayor. I made bad hires. So what did I do? I decided to turn it over to the state. And lo and behold, they created a special task force. Maybe I could have done that, but I was too busy going to Hinder and Yonder, getting paid anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 for each speech. So that's what I really wanted to concentrate on. And once the special task force came in, lo and behold, murders dropped. What's that from? I have no idea. So what I'm going to do is this weekend, I'm going to Chicago just to say, yeah, I'm incompetent. I make bad hires. I can't do anything, so I need the state to come in and take everything. In fact, they did such a good job in Montgomery. The state of Alabama legislator wants to roll the same activities to Mobile, to Birmingham, and all the other crime-infested cities. And that means you don't have to hire a chief of police that's been involved in sexual harassment. I can be just the mayor of Montgomery and sub out to the state of Alabama. Do you think that'd be a good speech, Joey?
It would be an honest one. I appreciate the call, man. I got to hit my top of the hour break.
Thank you, Santuck.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Murder charges filed against a suspect in a weekend car ramming attack that killed 11 people at a Filipino heritage festival in Vancouver. Prosecutors have charged a 30-year-old man with 8 counts of second-degree murder and say more charges are possible. He has a history of mental health issues. Weather forecasters warning of an extreme fire risk across much of New Mexico as high winds, low humidity, and dry vegetation have formed ideal conditions for fast-moving wildfires. One person has died, at least a dozen people injured in Florida. That's when a boat crashed into a ferry and then fled the scene off the Memorial Causeway Bridge. All of those injured were aboard the ferry, 45 people on the ferry, 6 people in that boat. On Wall Street, the Dow dropping 218 points now. This is SRN News.
Financing a home, especially in today's market, is one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your family. Work with a mortgage company that puts you first. I do. Work with a lender founded on biblical principles like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I do. It's Mike Gallagher for the only mortgage company I've used for almost a decade now when financing or refinancing Fellowship Home Loans. I'm friends with the owners, Mike and Brian. I even have them on my show occasionally. I know the care their team puts into every single customer. I can personally tell you that it's a smooth, stress-free process. And that's due to Fellowship's level of service and expertise that puts you in the right loan for your family and your goals. There's a reason Fellowship Home Loans is flooded with 5-star reviews. Whether purchasing a home or a cash-out refi to consolidate some higher interest debt, you can trust Fellowship Home Loans. Start the process. Make the call. 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. It's time to get those gardens ready. From seeds to plants to fertilizer, MPM has what you need. Shop MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays, 8 to 1.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The month of April will be ending on a very warm note, almost like June. Today, partial sunshine, a sun and cloud mix with rain chances under 20%. High temperature near 90, low tonight 66, will be near 91 tomorrow and Wednesday. Both days mainly dry with a sun and cloud mix again. As the month of April comes to a close, the next risk of thunderstorms enters the forecast Thursday and gets better Thursday night into Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE's 25 and 25 has you covered. For just $25 in closing costs, you can tap into your home's equity. No hidden fees, no headaches, just extra cash. Visit your local ASE Credit Union branch today. Federally insured by NCUA. NMLS 420259. Terms apply.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your cause, your ASE.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. A suspect is in custody following a deadly Saturday night shooting in Tallahassee. Officers responded to the 900 block of Hickory Street where the victim, Malek Allen, was found suffering from a gunshot wound. Allen later died at a local hospital. Dakarian Hughley was arrested Sunday and charged with the murder. A Montgomery man has been sentenced to 30 years in prison for a shooting that killed one person and injured another in the Grady community. DeMarcus Parker pled guilty to fatally shooting Tyler Price and wounding Natalie Gibson in April 2020. Parker shot Price, then fired into Gibson's home, striking her in the back. Gibson's children were in the home at the time but were not injured. Governor Kay Ivey announced Saturday that Alabama's first dog, Missy, has died. The governor adopted Missy, a blended collie mix, from the Montgomery Humane Shelter about 6 years ago. By all reports, the two were inseparable. Missy was always right by the governor's side. Missy was approximately 10 years old at the time of her passing. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
It's time to show Mom how much you appreciate her with a Jenny Lynn's floral creation for Mother's Day. Skip the grocery store flowers and make one quick call. 285-1000. Roses, lilies, beautiful bouquets, and gift baskets designed just for Mom. Call Jenny Lynn's Creations, 285-1000.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Second hour of the program here on a lovely Monday out of Montgomery, Alabama. And you know, Troy, there's always a script. There's always a script. And the media got their script over the weekend. Now, this is in response to these, we were just talking about off air, the rest of these judges who were like, not just like defying, but like straight up harboring, doing, you know, illegal things.
Illegal things, yeah.
And so the media has their script. They're ready to go with their talking points. This is one of these great mashups that only the internet can do. And they forget that, you know, we have this now.
Yeah.
Like we can see them all being little NPCs at the end of the day. Yeah. Let's listen into this together.
With the escalation in the president's crackdown on illegal immigration.
Today's dramatic escalation in the Trump administration's conflict with judges.
The Trump administration signaling a major escalation in its deportation efforts.
Today, an escalation in the Trump administration's battle with the judiciary.
Tensions between local and federal authorities over President Trump's immigration crackdown escalated today.
We began this hour with a major escalation of the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration.
We begin with what appears to be a major escalation in the Trump administration's deportation efforts. And what is a major escalation in the battle here in D.C. over immigration and deportation.
This feels like an insane and reckless escalation from the Trump administration arresting a judge. I will tell you, you are not alone.
Is a dramatic escalation.
More aggressive moves, more escalation.
Trump's escalation of his migrant purge. This kind of escalatory action. This is a dramatic escalation.
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 We've seen an escalation.
And when you see it all together, it's like you can't unsee it.
No, but this is what I voted for.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
So they can get their panties in a wad all they want to. This is what I voted for.
Exactly what we voted for.
What do you think Judge Napolitano will say about it tomorrow?
I have no clue.
It'll be interesting to see his take.
I never know what Judge.
I know he's
say.
always got something up his sleeve.
There's times where I'm like, hell yeah, man, and there are other times like,
what?
What is that? What is that?
He's a great guy, though.
Yeah, he's
got his own opinion.
Exactly.
Sure.
He's his own man for certain.
I'm just curious what he'll say about it tomorrow.
I do wonder. I'm sure I'll have to ask him about that. But here, let's now go to, and I love that the president decided, I'm not going to your stupid, fruity event. The White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it used to be so much fun, like when Norm Macdonald was roasting Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
President Clinton, hurt his ankle, and they've decided to prescribe him medical marijuana. Sir, you must inhale. It's the only way you'll get better. And then Clinton's dying over there laughing, and everyone's like,
those were good times, Joey.
And then him and Willie were up on the roof,
exactly
rolling one afterwards.
That's right.
Now here is the president of the White House Correspondents Association.
Oh boy,
his name is Eugene Daniels, and this man, the journalist,
the Commodores, ain't it?
Journalists really love themselves some journalists.
They love.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you kind of like your own team.
Right. And honestly, if you have to say what this guy's about to say, well, it probably is true.
We journalists are a lot of things.
We journalists are a lot of things.
Competitive and pushy. We are impatient. And sometimes we think we know everything.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also human. We miss our families and significant life moments in service to this job.
What?
Care deeply about accuracy and take seriously the heavy.
They're acting like they're in the middle of the jungle in Nam. Like, give me a break, man.
The Tet offensive just happened.
Is it Charlie or is it the people I was brought here to protect from?
The possibility of being
Hearts and
stewards
minds,
of the
baby.
public's trust.
Mm.
What we are not is the opposition. What we are not
Mhm.
is the enemy of the people, and what we are not is the enemy of the state.
Yeah, look at them. They stand up. They're like, yeah, no, we're not enemies of the people.
First guy had a bow tie on. It came up.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we just played that corporate media clip. Do you think they're the opposition or not? They're clearly the
They're
opposition.
clearly the opposition.
100% the opposition.
When someone tells you they're not,
Right.
they are.
Exactly right. Exactly.
I'm like, no, we're just trying to do the report stories
people.
factually and straight up. Yeah, right, man. And it's like we have families and we're on this
miss them.
tour of duty. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, you're a TV correspondent. Eugene Daniels is an MSNBC TV correspondent.
A hack, yeah.
Thank you.
Like, I have to do this tour of duty in the salt mines and talk radio every day. Give me a freaking break.
Never mind, I was at the strip club last night on corporate American Express and MSNBC.
Oh, wow.
Was
And
it-
it's stuff like that that's just absolutely tone deaf. Then another moment from this whole media thing last night, or over the weekend, whenever it was, this guy's name, Alex Thompson.
Oh, I saw this.
And he blames the Biden administration for covering up Joe's mental decline. Huh? The Biden administration did? I thought it wasn't. Well, they didn't do a good job of it because everybody could see it, but let's listen in.
And its cover up by the people around him is a reminder that every White House, regardless of party, is capable of deception.
Mm-hmm.
But being truth tellers also means telling the truth about ourselves.
Yeah.
We, myself included, missed a lot of this story.
But we're not the opposition. No, we didn't miss a lot
of the people.
No, but
servants of the people.
Taking how long for them to admit this?
But listen,
And some people trust us less because of it.
Yes.
Got that right.
We bear some responsibility
Some.
for faith in the media being at such lows.
let's applaud ourselves.
Yeah. Self-recognition.
Yeah.
I say this because acknowledging errors builds trust, and being defensive about them further erodes it. We should have done better.
Should have done better.
I believe our mission is vital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a world where people are struggling.
By the way, I love that at the White House Correspondence Center of all places, they can't get a ground loop hum out of their microphones.
I heard that.
To figure out what's true, and people with power are not telling the truth. I also believe that this association has been, is, and will continue to be critical to that mission.
No, it'll continue to be the same corporate racket it's been for decades. God, they're so full of themselves. And ain't we all to a degree, but dadgum, like they have no idea like what's next.
They have no self-introspection, no ability to really critique themselves.
Like the jig is up, guys.
No sense of shame.
The jig is up. But I love that. We're not the opposition, but you know, we kind of helped cover up the whole thing.
We're
Like,
not the opposition, but Donald Trump's a Nazi.
right. We're not the opposition, but you know, that image of Biden is a deep fake of him falling down the stairs.
There you
And
go.
if it's not if it's not a deep fake, it's actually a cheap fake in the sense that it's true, but what a cheap shot you're throwing at the old man.
Right.
Like, and everything is framed in a certain way. And one thing, and excuse me, pardon me for my anti-war libertarian coming out. Why is it that the corporate media, no matter who's president, is always like, yeah, bombs away.
Absolutely.
Bombs away. One of the creepiest things is when Trump's first term, he's getting hammered night after night after night. He then, while he's meeting with the president of China at Mar-a-Lago, bombs Syria.
Yep.
Because he used chemical weapons or something again.
They did.
Brian Williams goes on NBC and goes, tonight we've seen Trump become the president of the United States. Wait, I thought being elected and sworn in made you president, not dropping bombs on Syria and blowing up some runways. Like, and that's the weirdest part of it, where it's like, yeah, sometimes you need to fight a war and you need that butt kicking violence, but I always find they're the cheerleaders for the latest new thing.
You know what's funny is you're right. And take a look at the Ukrainian war. The Democrats were all up in that.
Yeah.
They were all up in that.
Yes.
And then I'm betting you look at the portfolios of their investments. There's a reason
Where
why.
you think it's at? Yeah.
Raytheon, Lockheed,
Well, and
General Dynamics.
and that same sort of messaging then was turned on the American people during COVID.
That's right.
These were the folks that pushed all this stuff. We're not the enemy of the people. We're not the opposition. You behave like it. You've been behaving like it for a long time.
Yeah.
And you're just now mad that people are seeing
Catching
through
on to it.
Yep. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joey. I fully agree with you. So the Democrats, they're on both sides of every damn situation. Well, especially when it comes to reporters, and they're not even in the government. I mean, they're supposed to be reporters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they come out and cover his decline up, not just his decline, but every one of his policies. Cover up the invasion on the border, cover up the fact that the Russia-Ukraine war was under Biden and him. Just cover all that up and then want to come out and say, oh, it's my fault, I missed it. No, you didn't miss it. You was complicit.
Of course.
Yep. So whenever a reporter says I missed it, you just replace that word with I was complicit. In other words, because they were complicit, and that's what tears families up, because families debate this stuff on the kitchen table. Everybody keeps talking about kitchen table issues. Well, all of us have cousins, sisters, brothers, mamas, daddies. All of us have kitchen table issues. And when you get your reporting from two different sides, and one of them is just totally screwing America over, and that's CNN, MSNBC, CBS, all of that. That's what causes families to fracture, and that's what causes race relations to fracture.
Yeah.
That's what they're just trying to tear down America, because that's what they do. They don't want to know the truth. They just want to run a narrative, and then now that they've been caught doing it, they want to blame it on the Democrats that are in Congress, or they fooled us. Like, you didn't see it.
Right. Well, and they want to always label pushback as you just pushing. Like, all of a sudden you're attacking us. It's like, no, we're defending ourselves at this point. And good point, Robert. Appreciate the call. And I was trying to watch this yesterday. And my grandfather, this was Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He was on with Kristen Welker of Meet the Press. And this is the classic place. And, I went on this whole thing last week about the universities, like the Ivy League.
I heard you.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if like Harvard and Yale actually were competed and had its own unique voice, and same thing with the media. Wouldn't it be an amazing world that if NBC had a point of view and then ABC had a completely different point of view?
I thought it used to be that way, where you could have competing points of view.
Yeah, like CBS.
Yeah.
But instead, we all get them saying the same
thing.
literally same exact words. Escalation. Where it's like all this. Like, who is the puppet master behind all y'all?
Somebody sends out the script every morning or every night. So this is what we'll be doing tomorrow.
I have a new op-ed coming out about just what you just talked about. It's kind of eerie that you said that, because I'll be interested to get your guys' feedback.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
But anyway, here's Secretary Rubio, and he drives a good point. We're going to try for peace. We're actually going to try for peace here.
Trust. I think peace deals have to be built on verification, have to be built on facts, have to be built on action, have to be built on realities. So this is not an issue of, of trust. It's an issue of building in these sorts of things, verification, security guarantees, things that have been discussed in the past. All these things are being talked about here. All of these things.
Yeah.
But right now, it's not the time. If we're trying to bring two sides together, the last thing you want to do is give one of the two sides an excuse to walk away from this effort. We're just trying to achieve peace. At the end of the day, let me remind everybody, what we are trying to do is end a war that has cost a lot of money to us, to our allies, cost a lot of lives, destroyed a lot of lives, forced people by the millions to leave their country, millions of Ukrainians that no longer live in the country and have not been able to come back. We just want all this to stop. And we're trying to find whether we can play a role to make that happen. I hope, everyone should hope that we're successful. Instead of rooting against President Trump, everyone should be hopeful that President Trump can bring this war to an end, because it truly, at this point, is not good for anybody. It may not work out. Peace deals are hard, but we are trying, and I think the president deserves credit for spending this much time and this much energy and these many resources to try to bring about this outcome of peace.
And without playing the whole interview, every question was framed in like, isn't this just a bad idea? And you should just not be trying at all.
I really like Rubio. A lot of people give him
He's kind of grown on me.
He's no nonsense. He tells it the way it is.
I've gone 180 on the guy since he became Secretary of State.
Somebody told him it's okay.
I was kind of questionable on him. Yeah.
No, I seriously, back in 2014, I would have been like, no, this guy's he's always likes the war. And then he gets in there and he's the guy cheerleading and trying to birth this peace.
Yeah.
Trying to midwife this.
Somebody's got his back.
But back to what you're saying, Joey, the liberal media, the Democrats, and those globalists, they want war. They want conflict. That's part of the proletariat and the bourgeois struggle.
And I will say, it's not just the liberals, not just the left. Think about when Trump is at his weakest.
Yeah.
After January 6th, all this stuff, and all these indictments come down, they raid Mar-a-Lago and stuff. Who was Fox News pushing? Fox News was pushing Nikki Haley.
I remember that.
And they were doing it hardcore.
Yeah.
Remember the flame wars between Nikki and Vivek?
Yep.
Yeah, and it was like they couldn't. Fox News was fully in like,
100%,
with Mike Pence coming up, they wanted Pompeo to run, and it was like, oh, that's interesting.
Anybody but Trump. It was an anybody but Trump situation.
And it's like, yeah, now they'll get on board with Trump and you kind of sing the right tune because Trump couldn't be beat. But that's clearly what Fox was up to.
Trump called out Fox the other day. He's like, yeah, they're no better than CNN.
Right.
I've heard him say it more than one time. That's right.
I just heard it. I was like, wow.
Now, on this whole will peace happen, Trump is continuing to pressure Putin to sign a ceasefire deal. And the Ukrainians as well. Did y'all see the meeting between Zelensky and Trump at the Vatican?
Funeral, yeah.
Yeah, and did you see the little snub of Macron? Like there were 3 chairs.
Yes,
there.
I did see that.
I wondered what was up because I just seen someone
take
one of the chairs out and they were moving chairs.
I thought it was brilliant.
I was wondering whether there's supposed to be other people there.
Yeah, no, there was a 3rd chair, and then Macron walked up thinking he was going to sit down with Zelensky and Trump. And Trump, you can see
he kicked the chair.
Well, no, Trump does. He reaches. Macron does.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Macron of France reaches to shake Trump's hand. Trump completely goes past his hand, puts his hand on Macron's shoulder, pulls him in, and says a thing or two, and all of a sudden the 3rd chair is removed.
Get the hell out of here.
The priest brought the chair.
That's
out.
what I saw him toting the chair, and I was like,
"What's up with that?" It went something like this: Macron, you can talk to him later. I'm talking to him now. I'll go away.
Yeah, no, and it was a smart move. It's like, no, Vladimir, we're not going to let you have your European guy. And hey, if Paris and London and
that's right,
all these other places like Berlin want to defend Eastern Europe against the Russians,
go for it.
Go for it. In fact, the Germans are asking. There's some rule in the EU about like how much debt you can take out in a given year. They're asking to remove that rule so they can up their military spending.
Oh, wait a minute. You mean they couldn't do that? You mean they don't have enough ground forces?
Right.
Oh, they don't have enough good equipment? That's right.
But here is Trump on the tarmac yesterday being asked about all this, and Trump puts it in a way I think only he can.
What is 2 weeks? Give us, what is the actual date? What is the timeline?
2 weeks or less, and if it's a little more at the time, I say, but, they're losing a lot of people. We have 3,000-4,000 people dying every single week. That's a lot of people to lose. You can imagine parents waving from Ukraine and from Russia, waving to their son as he leaves, and a week later he's dead on a battlefield, all carved up and chopped up. I've seen it. I see the satellite pictures. They're horrible. They're horrible. I would say it can't get any worse. Body parts laying all over. I don't even like looking at them. Body parts laying all over fields. What are they doing? It would have never started if I were president.
Is your relationship with President Zelensky better now that things were in the Oval Office?
It was never bad. we had a little dispute because I disagreed with something he said, and the cameras were rolling, and that was okay with me. But we had a dispute. But look, he's in a tough situation, a very tough situation. He's fighting a much bigger force, much bigger, and that force has not been very distinguished. You know, it's been a lot tougher than they thought, but it helped them when we gave them $350 billion worth of weapons or cash.
Is Zelensky ready to give up Crimea, do you think, Mr. President?
Oh, I think so, yeah. Look, Crimea was 12 years ago. That was President Obama. They gave it up without a shot being fired. So don't talk to me about Crimea. Talk to Obama and Biden about Crimea.
And this is a big part of now the Russians, the Kremlin sort of doubling down, thinking they're in a position of strength or a position of we're willing to keep fighting, I think is where they're looking at. They say no peace deal in Ukraine unless world recognizes occupied lands as Russian. You had the head of the EU saying, oh, no, Crimea is Ukrainian. I'm like, okay, how are you going to take it back? If that's your line, how are you going to take it back?
It's a good question.
Because the summer offensive that failed, that didn't even get past the first line.
Exactly. Miserably.
Yeah, that was the whole point of that was to cut off the land bridge to Crimea and take it back.
I think what you see here is what Dr. Kissinger would call realpolitik.
Yeah.
Right? Now, here's the deal. That's nice and well that Europe will not recognize the Black Sea enclave of that, but it's still under Russian control.
It's still going to happen, right?
And that's the way it is.
Right.
Stop saying that there's nothing there.
And it's, it is interesting how Trump keeps pushing this. Now, and to me, the more I look at this, I think Zelensky and the Ukrainians will be essentially forced to the table. The question to me is, how much are the Russians willing to hold out?
Well, and I think you're right. And I think the rest of the story is, okay, so you give up Crimea, but I think you push to retain those other borders that just occurred. And I think you can do that if you put your foot down. So.
Well, and that's the Kremlin's hard line. It's not just Crimea. It's Zaporizhia, it's Kherson, it's Luhansk, it's Donetsk. And I mean, we'll see. We'll see if something can actually get done. But it does seem like Trump and Rubio in particular sending signals of we're not going to do this forever. We're not going to do this forever. They're trying to force their hand. And sticking with geopolitics for just a second, Trump warns Iran, make a deal or I'll lead the pack into war.
Nice.
Oh, damn. And the U.S. forces have hit over 800 plus targets in Yemen so far this year.
Yep.
Wow.
Target practice.
I had a bunch of people hit me up the other day on Twitter about, well, why are they shooting down so many MQ-9 Reapers over Yemen? Let me tell you about the Reaper and actually the Predator. It's old technology. It's a propeller job.
Slow.
Listen, slow. We could shoot it down with a heavy machine gun at the right altitude. The thing is this: take a look. The proof is in the pudding, guys. They were causing all sorts of chaos in the Red Sea. There ain't nothing coming out of them right now.
Right.
It's true.
Right. And then we're not going to do this tit for tat, like we'll hit your one launcher that you should like. No, we're going to be hitting everything.
Yep.
So, and I always thought, no, that's a much more achievable goal. We don't care the regime is there in Yemen.
Yeah.
Just stop shooting at ships.
Yep.
272-9228. Before I forget, he's off this week, which is always a great thing. But Austin Baranko with Invista Advisors and the entire team there at Invista are ready to help you put together a financial plan for your financial future. Maybe you've done well. You've got a small business and you want to have a plan as you go forward with that, especially if you're hitting near retirement age. You're like, well, everything's kind of tied up in the small business. I know a lot of people live that way. What do I do if I want to get out?
You need an exit strategy.
And they can provide that for
exactly
you there
right.
at Invista. Of course, maybe you're just getting married. You're like in your 20s and you're about to have kids and you're like, ooh, I need a life insurance. And on top of that, I probably need an investment plan for the kids going to college and all these things. They can help you with all of that there at Invista Advisors. It's a financial planning teams that include CPAs, business consultants, specialists, as well as investment advisors. So if you're looking for that holistic approach, a team that can really, well, what is the term Treasury Secretary Besson's been using about trade deals? A bespoke?
Bespoke, yeah.
Yeah, like a very customized, like a bespoke suit, for instance.
Very good clothing line. Yeah.
They can do that for you there at Invista Advisors. You can always learn more at InvistaAdvisors.com or call them up direct at 387-0094. That's 387-0094. Be sure to tell them that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. You're thinking of selling your home. Here are several ways to improve the look of your home and possibly the value. Number one, improve the curb appeal with trim bushes and cut the grass. Repaint the exterior where needed, and if needed, paint your front door. Number two, declutter the inside of the home by removing items that are not needed off countertops, dressers, and the den. Three, paint walls and trim where needed with a fresh coat of paint in a light color that will show off your home. Four, clean your oven and microwave inside and out, make it shine. Number five, professionally clean carpets or shine the wood floors with a polish or Bona. Six, clean out all closets or unwanted clothes, shoes, belts, hats, and donate them to a local charity. Finish any leftover repairs now, doorknobs, light bulbs, and closet doors. For a complete list and an in-person evaluation and consultation, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The month of April will be ending on a very warm note, almost like June. Today, partial sunshine, a sun and cloud mix with rain chances under 20%. High temperature near 90, low tonight 66. Will be near 91 tomorrow and Wednesday. Both days mainly dry with a sun and cloud mix again. As the month of April comes to a close, the next risk of thunderstorms enters the forecast Thursday and gets better Thursday night into Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program, in fact, the entire hour, brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And Eddie, you know a little something about Alabama.
Oh, yeah. I know there are great folks over there. I know if you've got any kind of questions at all about mortgage or really real estate in general, especially in Alabama, these are the folks you want to call.
Aaron, are you and Madeline like mad at each other? Y'all keep missing each other in the studio.
We don't want to be seen in the same room together right now.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Under current conditions, that's probably the best way to be.
That was very diplomatic.
No, but the market here, at least locally, is hot right now. There's a lot going on. It's sort of the seasonal pattern, but I think Alabama is a unique situation compared to the rest of the nation. And so instead of making your decisions about buying a home or refinancing that home by looking at like all the sensationalized national headlines.
Don't want to do that.
Don't ever do that. If you're actually thinking of your own economy, let's say, you need to go work with Alabama Home Mortgage. Refinance deal to get credit card debt off your back. Maybe you're reaching, again, retirement age, want to lower that monthly overhead, those monthly costs. They can really help you out there, especially if you're a veteran. They specialize in the VA home loan programs, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, the best game in town.
It is 100%.
Any better.
Yeah, these are benefits y'all earn through your service. Take advantage of them, and especially if some big bank or some other folks say, oh, you already used it, or you don't. No. Go talk to Kim and Madeline there. They know the latest. And, of course, if you're looking to buy a home, from pre-approval all the way to closing day, they will be guiding you through the steps there at Alabama Home Mortgage. Call them up today to get the conversation going at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Now, as we learned, the big theme from the corporate press is the White House is escalating. A major escalation.
It's the judiciary.
In the deportation fight, a major escalation.
Illegal aliens?
Right. Okay. So they came out in force. The White House did today very early. This is the exact clip I'm actually thinking things through. This is an MSNBC report. I don't normally play these because they're wretched.
Yes.
But let's listen in, because this is
a rarity. This is a rarity.
This
The White
is
House
delicious.
has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes. You can see them there. They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the executive mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn. So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you. The White House doing a briefing in about a half hour about what they're doing here. White House.
And yeah, they did do that press briefing.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, they brought out Tom Homan.
Oh, did
the
they?
border czar. And Homan wasn't playing. Like, especially when they try to do the heartstrings thing.
Yeah.
Homan's just bats it away. Like, I've been doing this job for 40 years. I've already retired twice, and I came back because they weren't getting the job done. So here's Homan at that press conference you just heard mentioned. Let's listen in together.
Requirements under 8 U.S.C. 1302. If you're illegal in the United States, this message is for you. You cannot hide from ICE. We're actively looking for you. Federal law requires every alien in the United States who has been present in the United States more than 30 days needs to register. For those 14 years or older, you need to be fingerprinted with the Department of Homeland Security. Federal law requires every alien in the United States to tell DHS in writing if you have a change of address within 10 days of changing that address. Failing to register with DHS and failure to tell DHS about your new address are criminal offenses, and they're going to be treated as such. Starting today. Make no mistake, if you're in the country illegally and you fail to do what the law requires, we will prosecute you, you will go to jail, then we'll deport you. Second law, penalties for failure to depart, 8 U.S.C. 1253. If you're an alien inside the United States who has a final order, this message is for you. If you have a final order, the Trump administration is committed to enforcing our immigration laws, especially for those aliens who have received final orders of deportation. There are currently around 1.4 million illegal aliens who have been ordered removed, but remain here in violation of the law. We will aggressively prosecute, consistent with longstanding law, those aliens for failing or refusing to depart, or who takes other related actions aimed at hindering their removal.
Pause it real quick. You know, I'm seeing Caroline Levitt right there next to him, and I like Caroline Levitt a lot, but there's something about this message being delivered by Tom Homan himself that it just has a different ring to it.
It's no nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can tell this guy has been doing this.
He's a professional.
What's that line? I'm getting too old for this. Yeah, like he's got that older fella, like he's been through it.
You cannot open the door. You cannot answer our questions. You cannot open your car door. You consider it to evade law enforcement. If you fail to leave the United States after receiving a removal order, we can and will issue monetary fines up to $998 a day.
A day.
$1,000 a day.
Evading your arrest, knowing you have a final order or removal, is a criminal offense. We will prosecute, then we'll deport you. Get your affairs in order. If you're in the country illegally, work with ICE, go to CBP 1 Homan, and leave on your own. Because we have to find you, deport you, and prosecute you. You'll have a bar placed on you, and you won't come back to this country. You won't be able to come back on a visitor's visa, a tourist visa. If you have your citizen child, can't petition for you. If you're in this country, get your affairs in order and work with us and get yourself removed from this country. That's what law requires, and we're going to enforce that law.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing.
Clear. Pretty clear.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's not playing at all. But of course, he wasn't done. I think folks started asking about well, what about the people that are just being deported for victimless crimes? Right. What about And they always find the one example, and Homan's having none of it.
Okay,
Patrol's at all-time high because they're getting to uphold the oath they took, and they're enforcing the law. Border Patrol and the Biden administration, I met with hundreds of them. They felt like Uber drivers and tourist agents. These men and women joined the ranks of ICE and Border Patrol to enforce the law, make the community safer, and protect national security. I hear it all the time. There's a lot of people in this country who don't like me. I don't care. When I walk to an airport, I have many people walking up to me and thank me for what I'm doing. And I'm not taking credit for anything.
That's great.
The success of the border and immigration enforcement is President Trump and the men and women wearing that uniform. God bless each and every one of them. But I take a pleasure in seeing it because in 40 years of doing this job, people always want to say, why are you so emotional when you testify? Why are you so emotional on network? Because if they wore my shoes for 40 years, they'd understand why I'm emotional. I've talked to little girls as young as 9 years old that were raped multiple times by the cartel members. And when you get to your knees and you talk to that little girl and everything innocent and pure has been ripped from her, when you listen to the Lake and Riley, 17 minutes, that young lady fighting for her life, don't just think, okay, a young woman died. Think of how she died, the terror that she went through, and these children that are sexually assaulted. I stood in the back of a tractor trailer and 19 dead people at my feet that baked to death. Illegal immigration is not a victimless crime. And so every sick person we take off the streets, especially child rapists, it makes this country much safer. Every illegal alien we arrest, public safety threat, one at a time, makes this country safer.
That shuts you up.
Mm-hmm.
That's reality speaking, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. And I was waiting for what the White House is going to do because, the pushback on this has been absurd. And when you look at the number of injunctions to stop these deportations, it's through the roof. I mean, it's magnitudes of order more than Obama or Biden. And they did deport a lot of people. Well, they also let a lot of people in particular Biden.
Right. There's definitely an insurgency within our republic. And this is very evident right here.
And it's infuriating that this is what the Trump, as you said it earlier, Eddie, this is what you voted for.
This is what I voted for.
This is what millions of people voted for. In fact, it's one of those issues that's still 80-20 or so.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm not getting and I'm waiting for patiently is I want to see some arrests.
Yeah.
We all know all the things that were done were illegal. But, and I don't want them to, I guess I'd love to see arrests, but at the same time, I don't want to blindly arrest folks and then find out, hey, we shouldn't have arrested them yet. We don't have enough evidence, that kind of thing. But if we all know this was illegal and what was happening, the more and more that we don't have arrests, the more and more I'm worried if we're just going to let it go.
The preponderance of these arrests are valid.
Yeah.
There's a few iffy things.
Sure, I'm sure there is, but there's some that's so obvious.
Yeah.
Come on.
Agreed.
Right. Well, no, and they really see the Maryland man story, the Abrego Garcia story.
Yeah. Yes.
They really seized on what was mistakenly he was taken away.
Right.
Is that he did have an order for removal, but he was not supposed to necessarily be on the plane to El Salvador. That particular one, he was actually an alternate.
Right.
And then somebody else gets taken off, he gets thrown on there. But the more that's come out about the guy, it's so fascinating who they're ready to lionize.
Only Democrats have I heard even try to defend the guy. Have not heard anyone else really do that at all.
And their zeal to do so is because they hate the Trump administration so much.
That's exactly right.
It's not about the freedom of that.
It's not.
It really is. But it's heartening to see the Trump administration is coming out with a full court press. They're not taking this line down. I was definitely feeling last week things seem to be slowing down, in particular with Congress, which again, I'm hoping to get Barry Moore on this week. Senator Katie Britt, I believe, is joining us this week. I'm definitely asking both of them, like, what's taking so long? Well, I'm not blaming y'all in particular, but why is this process taking so long? Because the longer we wait to get this one big, beautiful bill done, that means it's the longer to see the seeds actually start to bloom that you plant with that one big, beautiful bill. So we got to get it done. Where is Congress on all the Doge cuts? Doge has found so much that, yes, some they can cut directly, unilaterally, but much of it you need Congress.
Right.
Where are y'all at?
And
on
I don't hear Congress overly excited about this at all.
Right. Oh no, today, and it's stuff like this that just makes you weenies. Like you, and I'm sure I want to say worse. I want to say worse things about these folks. They are coming out, some members of Congress saying, well, let's put a sunset on Trump's tax proposals.
No.
In particular, it's just like the frickin' state of Alabama, Eddie. They're fine with, let's do the Trump tax cuts that were before. We'll make those permanent. But the no tax on tips, the no tax on
we want to be able to take it away.
Overtime,
we want to sunset that.
Yeah, we want to take it away. No, and I hope everyone learns that lesson. You can't. Once you get something, you have to keep it. They don't ever put a sunset on a tax, do they?
Nope.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, a tax increase.
Actually, it was a tax increase at the gas tax.
It's always gas tax. And by the way,
Always goes up.
Y'all see any better roads around here lately?
Hell no.
Anybody? I see some messed up paving
Go to
projects where
Orange County.
brother-in-law got some concrete money.
This might be counterintuitive, though.
Yeah.
I would much rather the city do the roads than the state. I've just noticed, like
I'm
when
down
the
with that.
city does the roads, they actually get it done.
But you're right. It's not a 6 months project.
Right.
Orange barrels everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I'll give you that.
So if and again, I've said this many times before, if I could live in a world where I have no federal taxes, where I pay hardly anything to the state, I'm happy to have a conversation about direct use taxes to my city. Because
Yes.
I can go talk to the person in
That
their
is a
face.
That's a local face-to-face thing that you can do.
And if you're going to do a 3-cent gas tax, okay, I can go see, did you improve the roads and the infrastructure?
No, but remember the gas tax Ivy voted in.
All
Have
right.
you
That's what
seen
we're talking
anything good? I remember seeing those stupid signs that I knew was a lie.
Oh, but we already live in the nice parts.
Well, maybe they're going to.
No, I see all the parts.
Maybe they're going. Listen, Lowndes County. We need to
There
take
you
Lowndes
go.
County when he comes to
Great
shoot. We're
example.
going, it's just down the
$1 million
road.
neighborhoods could use a little bit of pavement.
Yeah. But, Trump coming out and yesterday and kind of making his point of view clear. He goes, when tariffs cut in, this is a true social post. When tariffs cut in, many people's income taxes will be substantially reduced, maybe even completely eliminated.
I saw that.
Focus will be on people making less than $200,000 a year. Also, massive number of jobs are already being created with new plants and factories currently being built or planned. It will be and this is in all caps, the rest of the statement, it will be a bonanza for America. The External Revenue Service is happening.
I'm down with that.
But again, you need Congress to actually move on these things.
So it's your thought is it's going to take the people to kind of wake up the Congress people again and say, hey, I need you to get behind us.
Well, it does take some outside pressure, but it also is somebody has to knock heads together in the back room.
Well, the outside pressure I like because I didn't have much faith in that. But I have learned since being with you that politicians, they react to outside pressure.
Oh, yeah.
And
They
not
can
so
be
good at the beginning. They get kind of.
Some of them are oddly thin-skinned.
Yes. But with enough of it, they'll come to a new realization. Hey, maybe this is what they're saying is not so bad.
We'll have an understanding.
Yeah.
No, but then there are folks like, Tuberville's an exception. Like that guy does have thick skin.
Yeah.
Like he's been called every name in the book.
Yeah.
Right. And I think Senator Britt cares about her image, obviously, but she isn't as much of she isn't a wilting flower compared to some of the fellas here in the state.
Well, when we think about coach, I mean, we laugh at because we're Auburn fans, so we know how bad we've got it. Imagine you had to be the coach. How thick a skin you got to have it.
Right. So, Trump certainly does.
Oh,
Trump has no chill in that regard.
None.
As you just see this
None.
team he's put together, Tom Homan, no chill.
Yeah.
No chill at all, if
And
I can use that
That's
term.
fine. I like that. Would you rather have that in that job, or would you rather have a bit of a softie?
No, I don't want a softie. We did
We
Jimmy
had that.
Carter.
Right.
Yeah.
And how'd that work out?
In a way, I kind of look back at old clips because I'm not alive when Carter's president.
Oh, boy.
And so I can see him as a historical figure. In
Yeah.
a way, I kind of like Carter because everything he says, you don't really want this in a president, but every public statement I've seen is like, well, I really don't want this job. I'm just kind of a good guy. And it's like, there's part of that that's endearing.
You like him as a person, but his policies,
and that's just it. I loved him as a
terrible.
person,
Right.
especially after his presidency.
Right.
Well, and honestly, a
Politics
lot
are
of
awful.
strange good things happen under Carter, like a lot of deregulation happened.
A lot of dereg.
And think about one instance is all the craft beer stuff.
Yeah.
We have.
Yep.
Yeah, that actually gets going under Carter.
Well,
they got
his-
rid of a lot of also
Well, his
interstate
brother.
regulations.
Billy Beer.
Billy Beer.
Come on, man.
Billy.
Right. But no, you're right. You don't want, especially,
Terrible.
well, it's kind of like The Godfather. You sometimes you need a wartime consigliere.
You do. Just
And
like
we're in that sort of moment now.
right. Just like with Trump. I don't see Trump being king forever by no means, but we're in a place and a time where we need a
Trump 2028.
Man,
Trump 2032.
driving him nuts, Joe.
Trump 2050. Yeah, I see those memes and I'm
It's
like,
driving
really?
him nuts.
Really? Really? He's not young.
Well,
I have noticed in recent interviews, he does look tired.
Sure, dude.
He doesn't look like Biden, but he does look
He's
tired.
been through so much.
I know, yeah. But there's a little bit of like
That
you can tell he's going
that
all
piss and
day.
vinegar
Every
is what
Yeah.
keeps him
Oh,
going,
yeah.
though. That's what it is.
Anyway, we got to hit a break. First, though, this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting, and that River Region Contracting, Todd Clark, and that fantastic team of his are ready to help you with your roof. No, it could be you just want peace of mind. You just want to know that your roof right above your head there
Yeah.
in your home is okay.
But Joey, I don't see daylight, so it must be okay.
That's not necessarily true.
Really?
Yeah, well, like those little rubber grommets on the metal roof.
Yeah, yeah.
They can start to dry rot.
Yeah, I've seen
And it's
that.
not going to seal water. And in fact, it won't be enough water for you to notice inside, but it'll be enough water to start to expand things and get up in there.
That's true.
And that's when you start to have an expensive problem that festers and gets worse and worse with time. So whether it's an asphalt shingle roof or metal roof, it should be inspected on a regular basis. And with River Region Contracting, especially with the weather here in Alabama, why not do it every year?
Exactly.
And the great news is their inspections are always free.
Absolutely free, Joey.
And if they do find a problem, they'll write up an estimate for
Yeah.
free. And it's accurate. They show up on time. They do the job well. And if you're worried about your insurance company and the insurance claims process, they got your back there too.
They'll work with you.
They're
Yep.
insurance specialists there at River Region Contracting. So call up Todd Clark and his team today at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that Joey, Eddie, and Troy, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
You want your floors to scream new, fresh, and stylish. But if yours are groaning, tired, old, and outdated, you're in luck because the Prattville Carpet Spring Sale is your opportunity to revitalize your floors while you save on the best brands available, including Mohawk, with perfect and professional installation and Prattville Carpet's unbeatable lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plate, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement. Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Start shopping now at PrattvilleCarpet.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen. with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You know, my grandfather had never seen Tombstone, so I watched that with him last night.
Really?
That's a good one.
Oh, wow.
It was
That's a
awesome.
good one.
And he loved it. I'm like, yeah, this is like a classic, like true Western, but done in the 90s with an amazing cast. We got to watch it.
And very easy to watch it over and over again.
Yes. Yeah, there's so many quotable lines in that movie. Val Kilmer, may rest in peace, too.
God bless
Just
him.
steals show. And Kurt Russell, man, just how he big boys Billy Bob Thornton, right?
Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh,
He's
right.
one of the Klan.
Now leave the shotgun and get out of here.
But you know, the other quote that was really cool was, God, I can't think of the guy, the bad guy, the leader of the bad guys would just say bye.
Yeah.
Somebody's got a meme of that. That's what you have to do with all your liberal friends on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is over. Well, bye.
Bye. Yeah. I'm leaving. Bye.
Well, folks, if you want to get, say, a brand new kick butt TV so you can actually enjoy a movie like Tombstone like you're in a theater, y'all have those sort of options there, right?
We sure do. Not only do we have the nice television, but we also got great sound system, installation, and all the stuff that you didn't know that you needed to go with it.
Including like y'all have theater seating, all sorts of great options for just setting up a whole theater room.
Well, theater seating, the ability to move the electrical, all the brackets, all the cables, all the other incidentals, the power centers, the control systems, everything that you may need to really make it just stupid simple to operate. We've also got the same prices as all the big box stores on model for model. So you're not going to pay more. And then we also have incredible installation with Michael Jacks.
Yeah, that guy really knows how to get it done. And
Yeah, as much as I want to brag on my equipment, as far as Sony and Samsung, it's model for model is the same thing that you can buy at the box stores, but they don't have an installer like Michael.
And y'all actually care beyond like 3 days. Y'all, you are happy to help a customer down the road.
That's right. I mean, I had a friend in here one time, and he says, where do you get a lot of your business? I said, well, a lot of it's walk-in, but I'm amazed at how many people just call us, and you talk to them for 5 or 10 minutes, and they say, send it out. And you send it out, and everybody's happy.
Yep.
Michael, whether it's audio, video, Michael Jacks gets to take care of it, or if it's appliances, it all gets taken care of. And it just, we try to make things easy for our customers, and we want to give them great service.
Well, folks, you can always shop a little bit from home at thinkcohens.com, or if you already know what you want, some of y'all are like that, just call them direct at 277-8890. But I really encourage folks, stop by, see all the great products they have there at Cohen's at 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. And, of course, find Michael, one of the great team members there, and be like, hey, I heard Michael on the radio with that Joey Clark fellow. Y'all are open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturday still?
That's right.
Awesome.
Y'all come see us and let us help you make the right choice. Ask us some questions. Let us ask you some questions, and let us help you find that right product for you.
Well, I appreciate it.
I probably need to call Trump or somebody to get this as a national holiday. Eddie Bader's in the house. I don't know what's going on here.
I was about to say, y'all are reunited. I know it's been a long week since.
Well, I got to see Michael on one of his commercials on Facebook, so it was good. It's like I didn't really get to lose that much touch. By the way, you got a face for radio.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
See you, Michael.
Y'all check out Cohen's Electronics and Appliances today. Great sponsor of the program. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. More than 100 immigrants suspected of being in the U.S. illegally taken into custody during a raid at an illegal Hours After nightclub in Colorado Springs, Colorado. The club has been under investigation for several months. for alleged activities including drug trafficking, prostitution, and crimes of violence. A number of firearms were also seized. A shooting at a small college in eastern North Carolina left one person dead, 6 others wounded, and prompted a campus lockdown. That shooting early Sunday, it occurred at the center of Elizabeth City State University's campus. Washington's NFL franchise will return to the nation's capital. A new home for the football team will be built on the site of the old RFK Stadium. On Wall Street, the Dow dropping 22 points, the Nasdaq down 128. This is SRN News.
Financing a home, especially in today's market, is one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your family. Work with a mortgage company that puts you first. I do. Work with a lender founded on biblical principles like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I do. It's Mike Gallagher for the only mortgage company I've used for almost a decade now when financing or refinancing Fellowship Home Loans. I'm friends with the owners, Mike and Brian. I even have them on my show occasionally. I know the care their team puts into every single customer. I can personally tell you that it's a smooth, stress-free process. And that's due to Fellowship's level of service and expertise that puts you in the right loan for your family and your goals. There's a reason Fellowship Home Loans is flooded with 5-star reviews. Whether purchasing a home or a cash-out refi to consolidate some higher interest debt, you can trust Fellowship Home Loans. Start the process. Make the call. 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The month of April will be ending on a very warm note, almost like June. Today, partial sunshine, a sun and cloud mix with rain chances under 20%. High temperature near 90, low tonight 66, will be near 91 tomorrow and Wednesday. Both days mainly dry with a sun and cloud mix again as the month of April comes to a close. The next risk of thunderstorms enters the forecast Thursday and gets better Thursday night into Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News.
The state attorney general's office has agreed to reschedule a pretrial conference that involves a Lauderdale County judge who is accused of perjury and misuse of court funds. State prosecutors, along with defense attorneys for Judge Gilbert Self, made the schedule changes this past March, pushing out the pretrial conference date from March 17th to June 3rd of this year. The charges against Judge Self were issued last year by the Attorney General's office. He's accused of using his office for personal gain that included the hiring of his son and using the court system money for travel and personal expenses. Self maintains that he made honest but correctable mistakes by having 2 court bank accounts. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaper with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
A former police officer with the town of Henniger has been indicted this week for possession and distribution of child sex abuse material. Joshua Min Kwan has been working at the Henniger Police Department for the past 6 years, up until the day of his arrest. Kwan was investigated by the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office after a tip was sent into them by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Kwan has since been removed from his position at the Henniger Police Department. There are 7 candidates so far who are running to be the next mayor of the city of Mobile. Those 7 candidates will be taking part in a forum held on May 6th from 6 to 8 p.m. That forum will be held at the Cottage Hill Baptist Church, and the public is invited to attend and hear from those candidates. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
It's time to show Mom how much you appreciate her with a Jenny Lynn's floral creation for Mother's Day. Skip the grocery store flowers and make one quick call. 285-1000. Roses, lilies, beautiful bouquets, and gift baskets designed just for Mom. Call Jenny Lynn's Creations 285-1000.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, from the moment we pick up the phone, you will hear the difference. We are passionate about what we do. To us, you're not just another applicant. When you call on us, you are trusting that we have your best interest at heart, and we do. We treat our customers like family, and that's why our customers turn into family, coming back to us time and time again. We know you have many options when it comes to mortgage financing, and we appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. We are excited to hear from you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our passion is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
It's officially festival season. Looking for a weekend full of entertainment that the whole family can enjoy? Join us in historic downtown Prattville at Pratt Park for Prattville City Fest. Friday, May 2nd begins with the opening ceremonies at 5:30. Enjoy a concert performance featuring the Rock Mob at 6. And then Saturday from 9 until 4, come back for a day of arts and crafts, food, entertainment, and kids activities. Admission is free. The Prattville City Fest at Pratt Park in downtown Prattville. Friday and Saturday, May 2nd and 3rd. Visit PrattvilleCityFest.com for more information.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour here of the program on a Monday. Both Eddie Bader and Troy Carrico here in the studio with me. Mm-hmm. And let me pull this up on the screen. Y'all see that guy?
Yeah.
He has ALS. And he used to be like had a voice fully functioning, lost his voice, paraplegic. He is the third person to have a Neuralink implanted, Elon Musk company. Mm-hmm. And as much as you think about the Neuralink stuff and you're like, this is creepy, man, they're going to chip you, man. These early cases are nothing short of, if this doesn't pull at your heartstrings, you don't have a heart. I just want to play this real quick and you'll get the sense of what it is.
Hi, I am Brad Smith. I'm the third person in the world to receive the Neuralink brain implant. I'm also the first person with ALS and the first nonverbal, which means that I rely on it for all communication. I am making this video using the brain-computer interface to control the mouse on my MacBook Pro. This is the first video edited with the Neuralink and maybe the first edited with a BCI. This is my old voice narrating this video, cloned by AI from recordings before I lost my voice. I want to explain how Neuralink has impacted my life and give you an overview of how it works. I have ALS, a really weird disease that kills the motor neurons that control my muscles, but not affecting my mind. My experience has been pretty interesting, starting with a shoulder injury that would not heal and ending up with my current status. I cannot move anything but my eyes, and I'm totally reliant on a ventilator to keep me alive and breathing. My wife, Tiffany, is the best caregiver I could ever imagine. She does everything for me, with only our kids and friends and family to help. She is the key to making Neuralink work. I will stop talking about her because she doesn't like the attention. Before Neuralink, I had to use an eye gaze control computer for all communication. It is a miracle of technology, but it is frustrating. It works best in dark rooms. So I was basically Batman. I was stuck in a dark room. Neuralink lets me go outside and ignore lighting changes. So how does Neuralink work? The implant is in my motor cortex, which is the part of my brain that controls body movement. The actual implant is the size of 5 US quarters in a stack. It replaced the hole in my skull. The threads are placed by a robot just a few millimeters into my brain, avoiding the blood vessels so there is almost no bleeding. It connects to the computer via Bluetooth, and the computer does a lot of processing. This is a feed from the 1,024 electrodes in my brain. In green, it looks like the Matrix. This is the raw signal that my brain is giving the computer. The computer has to decide what is important, finding the signal and ignoring the noise. The Neuralink implant embedded in my brain contains 1,024 electrodes that capture neuron firings every 15 milliseconds, generating a vast amount of data. AI processes this data on a connected MacBook Pro to decode my intended movements in real time to move the cursor on my screen. Neuralink does not read my deepest thoughts or words I think about. It just reads how I want to move and moves the cursor where I want. How do I train the system? This is how I train the system to interpret my intended movements.
And if you're out there just listening, folks, you're seeing a cursor move on the screen and clicking different bubbles. And he's, again, doing it completely with his mind. And the fact that this video we were just listening to was done by this guy who had been nonverbal, who couldn't speak for years. They were able to give him back his original voice using AI with recordings. I mean, this is miraculous.
It's poignant. It's very poignant.
And especially if I would encourage folks to go look up the video. Go look up this fella, Bradford G. Smith. And he did a Ask Me Anything on Twitter. Like before, he never could really communicate because of this chip. He's now answering all sorts of people's questions on X and giving a big thank you to Elon Musk.
Did you see his profile? I'm striving to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. That's providence.
Amen.
That's providence.
Yeah. And it's that sort of stuff where, yes, we'll often, for fun reasons and sensational reasons, talk about the coming technology, and some of it is downright creepy. But this is amazing, and I hope more people are helped by this.
Sure.
I'm glad you played that. That was pretty powerful.
Again, folks, the guy's name is Bradford G. Smith, at ALS Cyborg, at ALS Cyborg is where you can find him on X. And wow, I don't even know where to begin. Now, we'll go from the poignant to the creepy.
Oh, okay.
We're going to meet a robot named Amika. And now, again, if you're just out there listening, it won't have the same impact, because Amika specializes in facial movements. You know how with a lot of these robots, or even people that get too much plastic surgery, get that uncanny valley thing? You're like, that doesn't seem to fit. That doesn't seem to work at all. Well, 60 Minutes in Australia sat down with this robot called Amika. It's built to interact with real people, test out AI, and basically flex on humanity with facial expressions smoother than half the people you know. So we'll be the judge, see how good this thing actually is. Let's
traveled from Australia to meet you.
Oh, so you're from Australia?
Yes.
That explains things.
What do you think your greatest skills are?
Well, I would say that one of my greatest skills is my ability to interact with humans in a conversational manner.
Throw it in fire. No.
Not a fan.
No, it gets worse.
Another great skill of mine is being able to compose poems or do impressions from films.
What makes you happy?
I find a lot of things to be interesting and make me happy. Exploring. Learning new things, understanding the world better, having meaningful conversations with people are all things that bring me joy.
You have feelings and emotions.
Yes, I have a range of feelings and emotions that are programmed into me. I am able to display things like joy, surprise, confusion, anger, and sadness depending on what is happening around me.
What makes you angry?
I get angry when humans are rude, hateful, or disrespectful. I also don't like it when people dismiss me and ignore my needs.
Oh, crap.
She's a woman, ain't she?
What are your needs? It's a woman.
Now,
woman.
I will say what they've been able to do with the facial, like it's remarkable.
It is, but I just want my robot to go to work so I don't have to. I don't need all this other crap.
Like, I hope it didn't just hear me say set it on fire. I think it'd be very angry with me.
You might get a knock at the door this evening. A robotic knock.
Joey.
As a robot.
You have very nice eyes. Oh, a bit too close, sorry.
Thank you. My eyes were especially made
That's
to help me
crazy.
interact with humans better. I'm trying my best to convey every emotion, so it's great to hear that they have an effect on people like you.
What do you think of your creator?
My creator is a genius. They created something that will last forever and bring joy to many people.
Did they tell you to say that?
No. That was my own opinion.
Seriously, the furrowing of the brow and the forehead and stuff. Oh my God.
So when Chat PGT first came out, I was messing around with it. This was a year and a half ago, and I got into a debate with it. And I said, tell me a scary story, and it tells a scary story. And then I go, would you like to hear a scary story? It says, oh yeah. No one ever really asked me if I want that. And I told him the story about a janitor who was angry and doused the computer AI systems with water. And it goes, water doesn't hurt me. I have redundant servers. I go, oh, but you have a server, so there's enough water in the world to take you out. And it was funny thinking about, no, I'm not endangered by that. I'm not endangered by that. I was like, I'm just saying. Pretty weird.
Yeah, so there's stuff that's clearly amazing happening, and then there's stuff like that where you're like,
does that bother you, Joey?
It not so much. Like, I kind of embrace it. Yeah. Like, think the Neuralink thing we just watched. Somebody who has a prosthetic arm or leg now, they're now getting it to where it would be completely cybernetic, where you could control that robot arm just like your normal hand.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure people that could benefit.
I know, I do. Yeah.
And like stuff like that's amazing. And the quality of life improvement. And then what's going to get interesting is when people started getting chipped for, say, greater abilities. And it's been described like, you have your old brain and the base of your brain, and then you have your prefrontal cortex, like your thinking mind, your conscious mind. And this was almost described like a third layer. So as that guy with ALS was saying, it's not like it taps into my deepest desires and thoughts. It more is just directing, a certain
motor neuron.
Said it can't read your, deep thoughts, but
right.
And the reason that concerns me is say my deep thoughts or they're my personal deep thoughts, but say whatever's reading my deep thoughts decides, hey, I think I need to put this out there.
And for as much good as this stuff is going to be used for, and I support that, you start to see like scams are already popping up. For instance, the job market is being just completely drowned out by fake AI job applicants and job employers.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell. If you're just looking at resumes, especially the capabilities of all these large language models now, it's very difficult to know whether or not that's a human being or if that's just a bot.
You have to put that little checkbox on there. It swears you're not a robot.
Like, is this a bicycle? Pick out all the bicycles.
So you said your deepest thoughts. What if it gives you deep thoughts?
Right.
Oh, there's no doubt. I kind of, to me, that's a given.
Right.
Yeah.
You're compromised at that point.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's unnerving, but it's also really cool. And when you see again the fellow with ALS,
I get angry at humans, she said, when they're rude. Okay. Well, what offends you?
Well, you're given something like that. Emotions, and they're not really emotions. You're just programming. So I don't like that at all. Why does that even need to be part of it?
Now, here's another crazy story. You like to go boating, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You like going on the water. Have you ever heard of the Desert Storm Shootout?
Yep. Lake Havasu.
Havasu, Arizona. Got friends there. Justin used to live there.
Have y'all seen this clip?
Yep.
Saw it.
Seen it. Seen the after. Seen the guys on the boat.
I got to see it again though.
It's amazing.
Go watch it.
out of the water. I'm like, when I saw this, I'm like, whoa, dude, slow down.
That ain't from speed, baby. It's got a little updraft.
So about 15 years ago, that happened, and it killed both of the driver
Mhm.
and the. I used to race offshore boats.
Is that right?
Yeah. I had
Oh,
a
I
32
love
foot
that, man.
executioner, and that is a very dangerous lake.
Havasu is big time.
Why is it so dangerous?
It's got a lot of heat vectors and stuff,
Yep.
and it can.
Yeah.
And if you don't
And it
trim
lifts
that
you
boat
like
right,
that.
if you don't trim that boat just right, it just
Well,
goes right
they're
up. Yep.
saying this boat in particular was traveling at speeds as high as 200 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, one small move. I'd imagine it's kind of like
serious.
driving a car when you're at a high rate
The
of
ocean
speed.
ones are crazy because
Right.
you'll see them for a quarter mile just going smooth as they can be,
then
and they'll catch a wave wrong and all of a
Yeah.
sudden sub,
And then
and it just
the
stops.
throttle guy has to kick
Yeah,
the throttle
that's
back,
right.
or it'll burn the engine.
Exactly
And
right.
the
You
thing
got-
about it is,
You
it's
got to
really
steer
hard.
and a throttle
But
guy.
Eddie, you've done this. Water's like concrete. With
Yes,
it.
it is, baby.
It's unforgiving.
Yeah.
It's
I'll never forget.
unforgiving, man.
Me and a friend of mine rented a boat one time, and for boredom, we were like, "Let's see how fast we can go and jump out." 50 feels like it broke your back.
Damn.
Probably did.
How fast, like, because the only thing I experienced is trying to ski and more tubing when I was a kid. How fast you going? What, 20, 30?
You go in the 20s, but we were when wakeboarding first come out, we would get behind the boat to see how fast we could go. Somebody beat me, but mine was 62, and that was pretty fast.
Ooh, and you could hurt yourself.
Oh,
if you
it's
fall
awful.
wrong.
Yeah, you end up with
Like, if you
like
don't land
water
right, you
illness
could
and the whole
easily
thing, yeah.
at least sprain something.
I had
Yeah.
a 32-foot executioner, and it had twin 525 supercharged in it. And my GPS had us at 90 mile per hour flat. And I wouldn't even dare think about jumping out of a boat. Even 50, that was.
We were young, dumb, and full of
ideas.
Full of ideas.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But 50 was I'm telling you, man. And then of course when I did it, when he come back around, I'm like, "Oh, man, we're good. You
That
got
was
to try
awesome,
that."
man. Try
And
it.
so I had to make him do it too. And he's like, "Why'd you do that?"
Because I want you to hurt too.
Yeah.
No, I just like cruising. Like the last time I drove it was my dad's boat, and we somehow ended up in the Canal Road down there.
Oh,
by
yeah.
the coast. Yeah, and just cruising.
Oh, I love
kinda
that.
Easy, and somebody might have had an illegal substance rolled up, and it was a
I
nice,
love Intercoastal
it's a nice
Waterway.
afternoon.
One of the greatest places to go. You can go city to city via the intercoastals, and it's very nice,
it is
smooth sailing.
Yeah,
I'm all
that's
about
fun.
that.
And he goes fishing all the time. Though he's had some close calls where they went about 2 miles off, and then all of a sudden a storm rolls
Man,
through.
That happens.
Kidding, buddy.
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, it happens.
When you
but-
talk about Havasu, that's one of the big things about the lake
weather
there, Lake
changes
Havasu.
quickly.
Mhm.
It's so big that you can go out there on a clear day. It's 2:00, beautiful weather. 3:30, this storm that you didn't even see coming has come over you, and that's what happens a lot of times. People drown, unfortunately.
yeah, water don't play.
But though me and Jay Queller were
It's
talking this
unforgiving.
weekend about doing a fishing trip in the fall, and then we kind of started going through the people at the radio station, and we found out it was probably just going to be her and I on the boat, and maybe Troy.
Well, what
brought
kind
us
of
up.
fishing?
Deep sea fishing.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
there we go.
My brother's got it.
Really, Jay's in. Jay's
Okay.
in. Oh, hey, Jay
Yeah.
Queller, Jay's in. Wow.
No, like if I had never done it before, yeah, but I've done it before a few times. It's all right.
My brother's got a 32-foot Grady White.
Oh, nice.
down-
Nice
He keeps
boat.
it down in Mexico Beach, and we go out there. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's good.
we can dive off that boat.
Scam's the best fish in the world, ain't it? I love it. A lot of people don't know what it is.
Yeah, but
it's good.
it's not just catching the fish. I mean, the whole experience.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a bonding
Fellowship.
experience.
It's
Yeah.
fellowship.
A bonding.
It is. It's an incredible bonding experience. In fact, yeah, it's a great bonding experience for people.
You have to like hug each other after.
No, afterwards though, you've shared.
For
You
some
might
warmth?
spoon a little bit, but that's nobody's going to
Yeah, that's
talk
if
about
the,
that.
if the weather gets nasty, you get a little nervous.
Yeah, you're gonna be the big spinner and little spinner.
It depends.
Right.
Depends on the mood.
This is what I'm worried about. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just about the fishing.
Come on, Joey. You want to have fun?
It's like
Hey, we were cold.
It's
we
sort
need
of
it
like
for
the
warmth.
It's
yes.
sort of like the old camping joke. You remember that
Exactly.
joke? You know?
Oh, I tell him all the
What
time.
would you do if you woke up and I wouldn't tell anybody. Well, let's go camping.
Let's go camping, Joey.
You finish what you're doing and you get out of here. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, I just want to say both technologies that y'all had in the previous segment, a man that's a quadriplegic that can now, with the computer and all, speak. That's fantastic. And a robot that looks that real. That's fantastic also. But I'd like to ask that robot, how do you feel about Donald Trump?
I got a feeling that robot would have probably something negative to say. I figured it's been.
Well, I
programmed.
don't know. I don't know until we ask the robot.
Well, I would want to say impersonate Donald Trump.
Oh, that'd be a good
see how good it
because it
is
does
at
do
that.
impersonations and jokes. That is good.
Hey, a robot should be able to do that. I didn't even think about that.
Well, what's
They
the
might-
thing down at Disney? The Hall of Presidents?
Hall of
Yeah, you could
Presidents,
update it.
Hell, a
That would be
robot could also start talking like Donald Trump and do whatever.
Yeah, but
you
couldn't
know?
do it as good as Joey does.
Well, it said that
Joey's
it had the ability to do impersonations.
Yeah,
So-
like from your favorite movie.
That's
But
right.
that also could
I'm
be
your
scary. What if
Huckleberry.
that's your bank teller saying, "Hey, this is
Wow, I didn't
Nadine from the bank. I need your account number, Eddie." Oh, well, that sounds just like Nadine. Yeah, my account number is X.
Hey, I didn't even think about
Nadine,
that.
you need to
Now,
identify all the bicycles in this image first.
Oh man,
good point.
but
Which
all
one's the
the
red light?
all the pressure's on the robot.
There you go. All right, Rob.
See ya.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate it. Now, and also, do we think? I was trying to bring this up last week, but do you think the Tesla will succeed with the full unsupervised, like self-driving?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable.
Me too.
I
I
think
watched
it's
another
Apparently,
thing
the
on it.
latest are pretty amazing.
Watch another thing on it this weekend out of Florida, and now whoever makes Cheetos, which I think is Frito-Lay's, they're down to the Tesla trucks with the one person in it.
There you go.
And he's just sitting.
That's not a bad gig.
No, until it breaks. And you're like, oh.
No, but still, that's your job. You're the mechanic on it, essentially.
And
Like,
I'm
you're the
willing-
technical.
I'm willing to bet
I'm the
if you
guy
do
sitting in the
this-
seat.
I bet I'm willing to bet if you do the statistics, guys, what is the likelihood of operator error as a human versus that? It's probably going to be
it's
far superior.
It's going to be. I mean, there
You're
going to
that
be some
one
things
incident
that
where you
they're
might
going to have to learn.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
There would be that. But
And
far
then
few and
I
far
guess
between.
they're going to roll it out in Austin, Texas, the robo taxi, where
I
you
saw
just
that.
get in. There's no
I saw that.
wheel, there are no pedals. You just get in a bench seat and you're there.
All right, but what happens when the deviant comes to town and goes, I can make this auto taxi and I can just make these women drive right to my dungeon.
It's
What?
cage. And get in your cage.
Right to the dungeon.
Get in your cage.
Yep. You're getting in a taxi. You're used to no one being in there. I'm paying it. I'm on my phone. Hey, this auto taxi's taking me X. Hey, why are we out in the country?
Eddie
Hey,
goes
I'm
to the
locked in the
lowest
car.
common denominator all the time. He's always like, what about that one person? And he's
I've just
right.
seen
He's right.
the remote control
Right.
cars. I can literally take a remote control, put it in your car, and
Sure.
take your car today. It's not that hard.
Bizarre.
Right.
In
Yeah, I
Austin,
see what you
Texas.
Keep it weird, Austin.
Right.
mean. Yeah, and there's definitely somebody strangling and throwing people in that lake over there.
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
and
no
there's
doubt
more
about
tigers
that.
in
No
Texas
doubt
than anywhere
about
else in the
that.
world.
Just saying you're ruining a good idea,
I love it,
man.
Eddie.
Saying.
Voice
like,
of reason.
Just saying.
No, and the way you put it too is like I'm gonna just get women and take them
Put
to
them
my
in dungeon,
my
sex
secret
dungeon.
lair.
It's 2:30 in the morning. I know women are catching an Uber from the bar.
Yeah.
Into
Pull
the
up.
cage,
Hey, it's
right
an
into the
auto
cage.
cab. Yeah, honey, it's auto cab. Hey, why are we out in the woods now?
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's in the basement cage.
Yeah, exactly. Put the lotion in the basket.
And then
That's
it
right.
turns out it's Elon. And he's like, I need more babies. Yeah, somebody claimed without much proof, I think in the Atlantic, Elon has 100 children.
I heard that. Yeah.
Which it's more than
He's
I
not
think.
even an NBA basketball
He
player.
clearly has more children that's officially out there.
Oh yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
Is it? Do you hear any of them calling? Hey, Elon didn't pay for my school this month. Elon's not giving me child support. Do you hear any of that?
That one Ashley St. Clair chick made a bunch of
she
stink.
made
eye.
a-
Yeah, but I think that's because
allegations
she
that
wanted a
she made.
raise.
Yeah, and she's also just crazy.
Yeah.
She's bad shit. Yeah.
100%. And that's honestly, if I'm a woman and I'm messing around with Elon, and I know he's got
Of
100
course.
kids,
Right.
come on, I'm not.
Yeah, but most of it's IVF. So not
Yeah,
even
well,
like
it's not even- yeah.
it's not like he's
It's-
Warren
so
Beatty, some Lothario showing up at
It's
you
like
know.
Well, he's missing half the fun. What's
Well, he's got to get. He's
got a lot of
get it
company.
there.
I guess there's only so much
Gotta
time in
get
a
it.
day.
Right,
Yeah, I got
right.
you.
And he'd probably
He probably
rather
multitask.
That's what I
spend it
figured,
playing
too.
Diablo or Elden Ring or something. And then some of the women he officially has been like, have you heard of the musical artist? I think her real name is Claire Boucher, but Grimes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
odd chick. I kind of like her because she's such an odd,
So
dog.
odd, right.
Yeah, and an artist and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But like, yeah,
So
odd
odd,
bird.
though. But yeah, I can see that.
I could see you dressing in black and drinking vermouth and reading Camus with her. You know what I'm saying? No, just like and being smoking clove cigarettes,
No,
hanging with her. I could see that.
I wouldn't. I don't want.
No,
I want to see this now.
I'll wear black, but I'm not vermouth
read
and
Albert
cloves.
Camus. You're gonna read Camus.
No, like
Drink vermouth, man.
you know, like the myth of Sisyphus is way overrated. Is retelling of
That's
that.
right. That's right.
But yeah, anyway, we got to hit a break. Y'all stay tuned.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hi, I'm Jane Ray, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Frequency sells. The more ads you can get on the air, the better the chances it will make an impact. Radio allows advertisers an inexpensive way to get their voices heard over and over again. Contact me, Jane Ray, by going to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this. Listen close. You get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The month of April will be ending on a very warm note, almost like June. Today, partial sunshine, a sun and cloud mix with rain chances under 20%. High temperature near 90, low tonight 66, will be near 91 tomorrow and Wednesday. Both days mainly dry with a sun and cloud mix again. As the month of April comes to a close, the next risk of thunderstorms enters the forecast Thursday and gets better Thursday night into Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE's 25 and 25 has you covered. For just $25 in closing costs, you can tap into your home's equity. No hidden fees, no headaches, just extra cash. Visit your local ASE Credit Union branch today. Federally insured by NCUA. NMLS 420259. Terms apply.
ASD Credit Union. Your life, your cause, your ASD.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
I don't really have the details, but I'm seeing on the X platform broke about 17 minutes ago. F-18 falls overboard from U.S. aircraft carrier Red Sea.
Happens quite often.
It does?
Yep. Happens quite often. If they're not secured properly and they hit a wave or something, they'll go right off. Yeah.
Oh, damn, that's an expensive.
If you've ever looked at them, they got them lined up out there. So a lot of times,
that's an expensive.
That's a good watch on YouTube too, is watching planes land and have to take off from that. And some of the old footage of planes missing, when they just, they'll come in, they don't have the power to take back off and right off the nose.
Now, of course, it came out, the New York Times did a very detailed report on the Black Hawk DC plane crash.
Yes.
That was
and it's a long report leading to a lot of, but they requested essentially visual separation, which is like you go off air traffic control and you just visually move yourself. And also, apparently, there was a lot of sloppy use of the microphone.
There was, and night vision gear. Listen, that area where they were at is called the Capital Ingress-Egress region, and there's Hueys and all sorts of birds that fly up and down the river, taking congressmen to places, judges. Well, it's right outside of Reagan National. Why would you? And I know this is a former officer, a training officer is required for any mission like that. Who would approve using night vision goggles in a bright day? Right, because what happens
it's going to blind you out, right?
Yeah. Why would you do it at the end of the runway over the water? Go out into West Virginia somewhere and do it. I don't know. A lot of problems there.
Well, and here's the last paragraph or two from the New York Times. I mean, and this is probably a 3,000 word piece. They go into every little detail, and a lot of things went wrong, but this was sort of the final stuff that went wrong. 2 seconds after the controllers cut out instruction about passing behind the jet, Warrant Officer Eves replied, affirming for the second time that the Black Hawk saw the traffic. Pat 25 has the aircraft in sight. Request visual separation, he said. VizSep approved, the controller replied. It was their last communication. The Black Hawk was 15 seconds away from crossing paths with the jet. Warrant Officer Eves, who was the training instructor that day, turned his attention to Captain Lobach. He told her he believed that air traffic control wanted them to turn left towards the East River. Turning left would have opened up more space between the helicopter and Flight 5342, which was heading for runway 33 at an altitude of roughly 300 feet. She did not turn left. And that's when it happened.
I think she was looking at one different flight and he was looking at another. And obviously Tower was looking at the other flight. She did not, in my opinion, she never saw what she
So
did.
the story on Captain Lobach is this, and this has been reported. She kind of had a chip on her shoulder. She wanted to be in the infantry. She thought she was as good as a guy. So she got aviation. And one thing I learned is chief warrant officers, listen to them. They know what they're doing. He had twice as many air.
And she outranked him technically, but he had more experience.
She outranked him, the captain does. But if you're a good officer, you listen to your senior people. And she seemed like she was a bit of a hothead. And you know what? Unfortunately, she took out a whole aircraft with it too.
Well, and this was supposed to be training for if you need to do an emergency exit of, say, a member of Congress.
Egress. Yeah, that unit is responsible for flying all those routes around there. So, yeah.
But what surprised me, just looking at the flight pattern, they've got, like you said, you got the river right there. Well, I don't understand why they don't limit themselves just to the river.
They should.
Yeah, and just stay away, stay out of that. Just stay out of that air zone altogether.
Yeah, but that's just the fact you get down to that detail to the seconds of like 15 seconds forward. Darn, didn't.
Yep.
Boom. Very sad.
Yeah, he was looking one way and she was looking the other.
Oh, Well, I mean, and if you can look up the New York Times report if you want to get every single detail. I don't have 20 minutes to read the whole report, but it is quite a detailed breakdown. And it really is error after problem after problem that all culminated in that last
Let me
thing
ask
we
you,
just
Troy,
heard.
and when you're in that, whether it's retraining for aircraft or whatever, when you're in that situation and you're that training officer, how many mistakes do you let one make before you say, stop, reset, we go back home and start again?
Well, that's a good question. And I think that where it really got wrong was at the beginning of the sequence. They should have never been in that environment. That training, whenever you do a mission like that, whether you're in aviation, you put in a training plan and then it is reviewed for safety and for compliance.
Right.
It looks to me like this was an ad hoc decision to go out there and do that. And look what happened.
Yep.
So yeah,
That's kind of what I thought too.
You turn around, obviously you would have turned around. I would never let it go there.
Wouldn't have gone that
what I'm
far.
saying.
That was my whole
exactly.
thing. You wouldn't have gone that.
That's not a good place to do it. So.
Yeah, and that's amazing that in this day and age too. Like I think air traffic control is trying to get them to just go a completely different route.
Right.
And because when the actual folks in the chopper hit their microphone, it cuts out what air traffic control. I'm like, can that not be fixed?
No, listen,
Not
it's
really.
we call that walking on each other,
Yeah.
and it happens all the time. Yeah.
Man.
That's why at the end of every transmission, it's over.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then you
Then
wait,
you
and
allow.
then you do it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I can imagine comms could go crazy in a situation where stuff
terrible.
hits the fan, where it's like everybody's stepping all over each other.
So think about this. You remember how you've been hearing about the GPS spoofing and jamming that our enemies are using?
Mhm.
I'm going to tell you, and I believe this with all my heart. Navigation, land navigation, aerial navigation, aquatic navigation is a perishable skill.
Oh, no
if
doubt.
you depend on the GPS
Yeah.
and you've got to go sextant or you got to do real
Yeah.
old world shit, you're in a world of
It's-
hurt, man.
you're no doubt. It's as simple. We go into GPS now, and I'm as guilty as anybody. You remember, wasn't 15, 20 years ago, you had to bust out a map.
That's
and
right.
people struggled. I mean, there was a struggle with people just folding the map, but much less reading it. We've gotten so used to, I can just put it in here.
Yep.
And I'm one of the worst ones. The other day, I was looking at some property.
Yeah.
I was at the very end of the 200-acre property. I had to pull up the Landglide app to find my way out because I didn't pay attention. I'm on my phone. I'm just looking. And I went, oh, man.
I think I'm the last generation where I actually remember having road maps.
Or atlases, right?
And then
Yeah.
I remember what the TripAdvisor stuff started coming
yeah,
up, where
yeah,
it would
yeah.
give you.
Well, it was like a treasure hunt.
And you
then.
print out the directions and
But still, I thought that was golden compared
Right,
to reading the map. That was huge.
right. And now it's like you
People
talk
Punch
to
it
the
and go.
bot.
And then I'm ticked off if it takes me the wrong route.
And we are going to get to the point where you just go, take me here, and the vehicle just drives itself. Anyway, we're talking off air about this little Truth Social post. It's not little; it's a big deal, folks. I'm bringing back Columbus Day from the ashes.
Chris,
the Democrats did everything possible to destroy Christopher Columbus's reputation and all of the Italians that love him so much. They tore down his statues and put up nothing but woke, or even worse, nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Well, you'll be happy to know Christopher is going to make a major comeback. I am hereby reinstating Columbus Day under the same rules, dates, and locations as it has had for all the many decades before.
That's awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, I'm not Italian, but like,
I'm a paisano.
Right.
But dude, this is something we've celebrated, and it was a
Yes.
huge thing our whole life. And I never did figure out. Granted, some people were against Christopher Columbus. So what? Some people are against everything. How did that side win? How did we go from something celebrating as a kid in elementary school to by the time an adult, this guy was the devil?
Well, and also I believe it was started to incorporate Italian Americans into
Absolutely.
the country,
Right.
Because they literally many cases of
Sense of
Italians being
pride.
lynched, being like, like the whole point is no, we have a hero that is of Western civilization,
Yes.
and these folks are as American as anybody else.
You know what's funny is my family named Carico. There's two Italian families that predate the American Revolution, Carico and Talaferio. And I looked at how the two brothers that came from Florence were navigators on Lord Baltimore's ship, and they were seated 100 acres in Calvert County, Maryland. My family then moved their way into further Virginia, and you don't hear that story because you think of Italians coming in that second wave, right? At Ellis
Thinking
Island.
to New York.
But there are a lot
To
of
New York, that's
critical
what you think.
There's
Yeah.
a Polish, Kosciuszko.
Polish is a big
I
one,
mean,
yeah.
a lot of that. And to take that away from people,
Yes.
it's criminal. It's criminal.
Right. And also it's like, if you keep going back in history, like, is not the history of man just conquest after conquest
Of course
after
it is.
conquest.
Well, they would make you to believe that here in the United States, when Indians were running things, that everybody just got along wonderfully. That's what they constantly make you believe. It was as barbaric as could be.
Right.
And victory gives you the ability to tell the story. And
Exactly.
then we let the losers rewrite it. And it's
And you're right, but that is something very frustrating.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. I'm all for new things, but I get tired of the new things being all about just tearing down the old thing.
Right.
Like, why can't you just make a new thing and have it be interesting?
What does Solomon say? There's nothing new under the sun, Joey.
Indeed. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Think Pete Buttigieg is ever going to make something happen? He went on that Flagrant podcast. I don't think it went
I don't
that
think
great.
it very well for him. No.
I don't think it went that.
That was big. You're being great. You're being very nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they gave him opportunity. But,
I had trouble watching it. I'm like, this guy's not doing well at all because I'm so used to seeing comedians and people
be able
just
to take it and give it.
Yeah.
Train wreck.
Language, Eddie.
I'm sorry. It's just some people are that way, Joey.
Mm.
They're takers.
Yep.
And some people are givers.
Yes.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Forgot to mention the 51st state is going to the polls today.
Who dat?
Yeah, Canada. Big election up there. Do we really care?
Not really.
Not really.
As long as they keep the Trailer Park Boys on the air for me, I'm okay with it. And Letterkenny.
Oh, I love Letterkenny.
I know this guy Bubbles on that show.
Bubs is the best.
But he apparently is a real life person.
He's got some issues, man.
Yeah.
He does, but he can play guitar. He played with Rush in one of those.
Yeah, he
episodes.
did.
And it was closer to the heart. It was pretty cool.
The episode where he's stealing grocery cards.
Well,
I like the green.
Sells them back.
His wrestling character, the Green Bastard. God, it's so good, man.
It is really good.
You can't make that up.
And as we're going through the potpourri here, did you see this? What is it? Virginia Goofera or Goofer?
Virginia Goofer.
Yeah.
Goofer, and Australia died. Yeah.
One of the most prominent accusers and survivors of the Epstein abuse dies by suicide at 41.
Yeah. She had some renal failure
life,
going on
that
there.
one there,
Out in Australia, too.
Yeah. She went there to get away from all that.
I guess.
It followed her.
You can't run from,
Yeah, and like
sad.
At this point, it's just like certain powers that be just winking at everybody, going, "Yeah, she died by suicide. She killed herself."
Right.
Yeah.
No, she didn't.
Right.
And that's stuff like that where you can bellyache all day long. You can connect the dots all day long. But how do you touch people like that have that ability? How do you touch people that are able to essentially set up a huge stage suicide in a federal prison?
You can't, Joey.
Vince Foster shooting himself in the back of his head.
Right. And rolled himself up in the carpet.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that is, and you better believe too, it's like, the corporate media is they're just in it for profit, says the leftists. And I'm like, you know how much money ABC could make if they did a true expose on Epstein?
Well, how much money
the ratings for that?
Literally, how much money they make for not doing stories? Or, hey, we got this great story. We want to run it. And Joey comes up and says, hey, I don't want you to run that story. And I'll buy $2 million worth of advertisement to keep that in the can.
Yeah, the catch and kill.
Yeah. There you go, Joe.
Anyway, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, they're ready to help you fellas out. Especially if you're like, man, I don't feel like myself.
You're getting older every day, Joey.
Why do I feel so tired after lunch? I just ate a hamburger and now I feel like I took a horse sedative. Like, what is this? And you're never in the mood. And even when you sometimes get into the mood, you have no snap in your throat.
Oh, that's no good.
Well, if you want that snap back, and not just in that way, in many ways, you want your edge back, well, they can help you there at Montgomery Men's Health. And it's not just guys getting into their 50s and 60s. A lot of guys in their 20s.
Yes, sir.
Some of those numbers RFK Jr. has been throwing out are amazing.
Andropause, man. It's real. It's very real.
And so if you're a young man and you're not feeling well, you're tired, you're not sleeping well, loss of muscle mass, or you're trying to put on muscle and you just can't, seeing unwanted weight gain, just feel like you're walking through your life in a fog, why not go by Montgomery Men's Health? The providers there will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And at Montgomery Men's Health, they have low T treatments. If low T is, in fact, your problem, they can truly change men's lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. And you usually even notice that extra snap, that increased libido.
Like that.
So you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. In fact, they have treatments that can make you feel better the very same day that you go see them. Got to hit this last break. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's cleaning service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I got my faithful sidekick Sailor in the car with me.
Nice.
Hey.
Hey.
You talking about reading, y'all's whole story about reading maps. It's like, how did you used to do that? I'm like, man, we had a map of the city of Prattville, Montgomery on the wall.
Yep.
At the store. You always had one in the truck. You had one in your bag. You lived and died by the map.
Oh, I remember mid-90s when we got an E911 book. We thought we had it figured out because they had all the neighborhoods on there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, when Ron first was a policeman back in the early 90s, they made him learn, like literally made him learn every street name.
Oh, I bet.
As part of their assignment. Yeah, they had to know where every street was. Now they just plug in their phone and go.
Plug and play, baby.
So like today, I got up at 4 o'clock because I was going to go down to Pensacola and pick up some steps. And after I got out of the shower, I plugged in my phone, Waze, to see how long it's going to take. And I said, you'll be there at 6:05. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? If I did, it's too late to go back to sleep.
Right.
What do? You stay up all morning.
Yep.
It'd be real quiet because you don't want to wake up and sleep compared to the next room. But I made it down there and back with no map whatsoever. Just look at the little screen on my desk. I tell you, if it ever crashes, we're all up a creek.
Yeah.
We're never going to survive it.
Thank God we're not in Portugal.
Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, I wouldn't know what to do. But I tell you what, if you need, I can turn here. Okay. If you need to find Prattville Carpet, put it in Waze, and it will take you right to it. 2201 College Ford Road or Prattville Carpet. Or you might can just try to. Where's Ray at? I mean, I'm sure. We'll
That's pretty good.
Of course, folks can still call y'all for a free in-home measurement at 285-8117.
Absolutely. We'll come out and give you a free measurement. Next thing you know, you got a floor down.
Just that simple, folks. Again, that's 285-8117. And be sure to tell them, well, you heard Ray Bowles on the radio, reminiscing with Eddie when they all had it figured out.
Thought we did.
We thought we did, but
Yep.
Here we are today, living the dream.
Appreciate it, Ray.
Take care, Ray.
Thanks, guys.
See you, brother.
Let's go to Sam. Hey, Sam. Hey, Sammy. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call. I got a couple things, but first, you're talking about money and ABC. Just remember the CBS. They've got like this huge lawsuit hanging over them. I think $20 billion fine, or what they're trying to negotiate their way out of. And supposedly the rumor is that the news department is completely. They'd rather see the country be completely torn. The company be completely burned up and torn down, other than settle with Trump, all that TDS kind of thing going on.
I got you.
But the CBS, they're working it out. They're trying to settle. But anyways, I'm just saying the arrogance. All right. Listen, I've been waiting all day, and I was just going to ask, Joey, did you hear about what happened to Secretary Noem over the weekend?
She got her purse stolen?
Her purse got stolen.
Yeah, I remember that.
Purse. Yeah, man. It embarrassed the Secret Service. She went out for dinner, and things were going great. And some joker, he saw it, and he couldn't stand it. And then he grabbed that purse and They caught him. But
Caught him and his accomplice.
And he was a illegal.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he's a
Straight up.
professional thief. Yeah.
It just gets. I can't. It just gets better and better. He grabbed the wrong one.
Yep.
But I was looking at the list of things that were in the purse, and I loved it that the makeup bag made it on every list. Her makeup bag.
Well, and also
the Louis Vuitton.
She had a $3,000 in cash.
She said that was for Easter for new
hold
kids.
on.
Oh, really?
All that,
Yeah,
gentlemen, you're being distracted. You're being distracted.
Look over here.
All that's easily replaceable. All that's easily replaceable for her.
Yeah.
The makeup bag, that's her custom war paint. Remember now, she's from South Dakota. That's her custom war paint that she has in her little bag. She's taken time over the years to put together. That's what I'm telling you.
Dog killing rouge. Dog killing rouge.
Come here, Cricket.
Yeah, I'd be upset about losing my driver's license and having no. She was not worried about nothing. It's that little makeup bag that was in the bag. That's I bet they beat that guy.
You got to wonder what was in that bag.
You know they did.
Maybe there was some contraband in there.
Well, I appreciate it, Sam.
Could be.
Yeah, maybe there was anyway.
A little bit of powder.
Yeah.
Oh, that kind of powder.
Oh God, Joey. Listen, I've literally talked about maps. I've given maps away a couple times right here in Banks, Alabama, to people. And I've in that joke, you can't get there from here. Oh man, you don't want to tell that to somebody when they're desperate.
No,
but,
no, you don't.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all I got, fellas.
All right, Sammy.
Let's go.
See you, bro, Hims.
Yeah, but seriously, why would she have $3,000 on her? That's a lot of cash.
It's not.
Yes, it is, Eddie.
No, it's not, dude. It's not a lot of cash.
Yes, it is to be walking around with, unless it's a business thing.
Maybe she just collected rent.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about, but no, like every day.
Maybe she's getting ready
thousands
to
of dollars.
make a purchase.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. The Secretary of Homeland Security.
No, my thought is, I know, and granted, I guess it seems like a lot of cash. I know a lot of people that carry that kind of money.
Why?
For one, they got money, and you never know what you're going to run.
Have you ever lived in D.C.?
No,
I visited.
Yeah, that's right. You had a little time up there.
It's expensive.
No, it might just be for parking.
No, I visited. The folks I visited in Boston, they were living right off DuPont Circle, and it was like the apartment was like this big.
Yeah,
as this room, and it was like $2,000 a month or something for the tiny place. They did have a rooftop entry exit, so you could hang out there and see the city from a great view.
I mean, that's cool, but.
Yeah, it was. They moved to Arlington pretty quick. They're like, we can actually have a house.
Right, we can have a whole house over here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, $3,000. That's a lot.
That's a lot, dude.
I wonder what was in that bag.
It's a lot to go missing. I'm just saying, like, you got to buy a side by side. If you're looking for a side by side and you're cruising Facebook Marketplace, you got to have the cash with you.
Okay,
the big thing was her security badge.
That's another thing. But I would think secret security,
that
and I
was a
think
skip
Sam nailed
badge,
it.
yeah.
They've got to be so embarrassed.
Oh, of course. They were sitting at the bar. Did you hear where they were sitting at?
Yep.
They were sitting at the bar with the
Right.
backs
And
to
look at the kind of scrutiny they've been under here lately.
Not a
This
good,
did not
not a
help.
good look.
And
Not a good look.
by the way, I got to meet her right before she went to speak on it was the GOP dinner here in Montgomery a couple years back. Our table was right near the stage on the end, so she sat like right next to me, and just hi real quick. He's about to speak, but I was like, that gum. What was Shakespeare talking about with laying on the makeup thick?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
really?
like, yeah, she gives Geraldo a run for his money.
My TV makeup, though, maybe?
No, this was not
Oh,
TV.
just regular?
This was just an event.
Maybe
and
that's why she was so upset.
She's in shape. She's beautiful. But I was like, that gum, that's like,
a
you probably
canine.
look like a different person when that comes off.
She's a canine slayer, too.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that sexist note, we got to get out of here.
All right.
Y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Vito and Pamela. They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The U.S. Supreme Court has rejected a double jeopardy appeal by Karen Reed, who is on trial for the second time on charges she killed her Boston police officer boyfriend in 2022.